you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call Sunpoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. Sunpoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
As another new year begins, I'm reflecting on all that has happened. I'm filled with gratitude for the Golf to Go show guests who've trusted us with their time, their thoughts, and their dreams. People like putter magician Scotty Cameron, First Tee's Angie Dixon, former football great Peyton Manning, LPGA legend Nancy Lopez, the heralded team at Hagen Oaks like Ken Morton Jr., Tom Morton, PGA Golf to Go's resident on-air playing coach, and Mike Woods, PGA Director of Golf, and all the PGA professionals and guests who've educated and informed us over last year's 52 shows. Thanks also to you, our loyal listeners, who are there every week with compliments and suggestions when we might get a bit off track. Thanks also to the game that brings us all together. Thanks to the millions of men, women, boys, and girls who play the game. Thanks to the able-bodied, and thanks also to the programs that nurture those in need of a lift, like the California Eagles, PGA Hope, and many more. We are fortunate for our world-class golf and to have lived life and had a chance to play the game. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140. It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson. Online at SactownSports.com or on the app. Kings, Niners, and Sacramento. The Matt and Kayla Show starts now.
Truly one of the best parts of this job and sitting in this chair is seeing and using the same computer that Carmichael Dave used and just seeing what tabs are open, including, can a ladybug eat lettuce? Copilot says he uses Bing too. Who uses Bing?
Bing? Wait. He uses Bing?
Not Google, he uses Bing.
I thought that was an energy drink.
No, Bing is a search engine. It's Microsoft's search engine that nobody uses. Shout out Microsoft to sponsor the show. If Bing wants to sponsor the show, I will use Bing.
Same.
That's the only way I will ever use Bing. Dave, get some help. But yes,
Dave,
a ladybug can eat lettuce.
Yes, and speaking of the ladybug that is
She's
the
over
morning
here.
show's pal, she's now kind of gonna maybe hang out with us and see if she likes us better.
Yeah, she's vibing with us. Welcome to the better show, ladybug friend.
Yeah.
My ladybug.
We're gonna have more fun, Milady.
My ladybug.
The station mascot.
There we go.
They don't live long, do they? Here, let's add to the Google the Bing search.
Can you ask what the dots are? Because she has lots of dots.
How long do ladybugs, not laptops, ladybugs
Ask Bing.
live?
Just make sure it's Bing.
How long do ladybugs live? About 1 to 2 years. Hey!
Oh, you were right.
Welcome. We're gonna get along. That's the length. That's the length of our contract. So that's pretty good.
That's about
We might expire at the same time.
But also, like, sports teams do, like, Bevo 3 or, like, Bevo 4, so we'll just get a new ladybug and call it Ladybug 2 and Ladybug 3.
That's right.
What?
Like Ugga.
What?
Ugga 1, 2, 3, 4.
How many Uggas have there been? Those dogs can't live that long.
They don't.
I'm so fascinated by Dave's search engine because I was starting to type in what do the dots mean on a ladybug and what do the kidneys do?
Oh, because he has kidney conversations all the time.
What do the blood pressure numbers mean?
Oh, my goodness.
What do the dots mean on a ladybug?
Next one is just going to be, what does it mean if you're peeing blood?
Exactly.
Let's see. The dots on a ladybug, known as a spot, serve as multiple purposes. Defense mechanisms.
Ooh.
Deter predators. Identification. Number arrangement and color marks the identifying different species of ladybugs. There are different species. Folklore. In some cultures, the number of spots on a ladybug is believed to predict future harvests. So the number of children we will have. All right, Kayla, how many how many kids will I have?
It has a lot on there, ladybug. It had like 20.
Oh, well.
So unless you're Philip, if you're going to go get some advice from Philip Rivers or
Robert Sala's halfway there.
Robert Sala has 9 kids, I just learned.
Learned that today.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome into Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're your midday show getting you through your workday. I'm Matt George. Kayla Anderson joining me. And on the other side of the glass, we've got Kyle Ledbetter. And we got a fun show planned for you today. On this Tuesday, 4 hours, it's going to fly by because we got tons to talk about from the Kings' loss to the Heat last night. The interesting comments of Doug Christie about Zack LaVine and his defense, and it's hard not to take it a specific way. We'll talk a little bit about NBA All-Star starters that were announced, who was snubbed. Spoiler alert, there's not a Sacramento King anywhere close to this list. Mike Brown's Knicks are imploding, but that all comes after we talk to Diana Russini from The Athletic. This is Kayla Anderson delivering again. She got a Steve Weish last week. Now we get Diana Russini this week, and Diana's going to fill us in on everything that's going on, not just in the head coaching search, but a lot of coordinator jobs being scooped up. So we're going to touch base with her, and she's going to give us all the details on that. I'm very fascinated to hear what she has to say about what Tom Brady is thinking for that Raiders job that we haven't really heard anything about. And on today's show, Kayla, we're going to dive headfirst into a Keon Ellis conversation.
Yep.
That's coming up at noon during our lunch break segment, because I think Keon Ellis's time in Sacramento is at an end. I think
you are very set on
I think
that.
it's done. And I'll kind of lay out why, and we'll talk through it. Plus, more Jonathan Kaminga talk. We have an update on our poll on that trade that we came up with yesterday. And a lot of people have weighed in. And Mike Dunleavy Jr., the GM for the Warriors, had a pretty crazy comment about Kaminga before last night's game, which Kaminga finally played in, and he played well for the Warriors. So we got a ton to get to in this show, but let's start with that loss last night to the Miami Heat. And Kayla, the first question I have, who the heck pissed off DeMar DeRozan?
Oh my gosh.
This dude, in the last 3 games, in 2 of the last 3 games, he's gotten into some sort of altercation.
Yeah.
He's talking smack. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder. And then last night, after he got into an altercation in the first half where he picked up a technical foul, mainly just for jawing back and forth with Bam Adebayo, he had a obvious flagrant foul that I'm glad they didn't go as far as to say it's a flagrant 2 or anything like that, but it was a hard foul in transition on Pele Larson, and he absolutely deserved the flagrant. We're seeing, I don't know if it's the time of the year with the trade deadline and all the stress about that. I don't know if DeMar's just frustrated with how this season has gone, although the Kings are playing better basketball right now than they were before. DeMar seems a little ticked off right now, Kayla Anderson.
It could be so many things, right? Because it is that time of the year where, frustrations are really starting to build with what this team truly is, and you just have to kind of admit to yourselves, this is what the team is. With a guy like DeMar DeRozan, who is here in kind of the last part of his career, and he's played pretty well. If you really want to have an opinion on him, it's hard to say he hasn't played well. And then on top of it, you're waiting around to see if you're even going to be in Sacramento.
Yeah.
And so I would look at it as DeMar DeRozan has always carried himself as a professional, but he is also someone who's not going to take you know what.
Yeah.
It seems like in even the past few games, he's been irritable. And I would think most of that has to do with the compiling of all those 3 things.
Yeah.
And just the littlest things can probably tick you off. I mean, Matt, I don't know if you have days like this, but I have days where I just wake up and something goes wrong from the get-go. Mm-hmm. And so if I'm competing in something and somebody got under my skin, I probably would be a little irritable too.
I got to be careful here because I'm not trying to apply a narrative to something that I have no idea about. But I'm just thinking, like, first off, we had a conversation on yesterday's show about how important this time of the year is for the NBA, right? The NBA fan base in general is always very locked in and very tuned into the trade deadline season because trades in the NBA are just special. It's different. It's one of the ways that NBA is king and different than anybody else, even the NFL. But I have to imagine for a player, the trade deadline could be stressful as hell because you potentially have your entire life uprooted. You have your entire family uprooted. In the example of Zack LaVine last year, right? Zack LaVine moves from the East Coast back to the West Coast. Technically, he's from here, but it was right after his wife had a baby. And they're living in a hotel basically for a week or so, as long as it takes for them to get settled and get acclimated. And again, he just had a brand new baby. Like, the human element of it is it's not easy to go through anything like that. And you're expected to do it on a whim because if a team trades for you, you have to go through your physical, make sure you pass your physical. Then you're hopping on a plane and you're reacclimating to a new life and you have a game in 24 hours. Like, it's part of the business. They're paid very well and they're taken great care of, right? The teams have dedicated, people's jobs in the organization are to, I'm going to handle the travel and the room and everything.
You have to stay in 5-star hotels.
Right. I'm going to take care of you as best as I possibly can, but it doesn't mean it's not stressful. But in the case of DeMar, you and I have talked about this a lot over the infancy of this show. Mm-hmm. I think it makes a lot of sense for the Kings to want to move on from DeMar. And I think it makes a ton of sense for DeMar to also want to move on. DeMar wants to play meaningful basketball at this point in his career. And he's been a total pro here in Sacramento, even in times that it hasn't worked. But I imagine if I'm DeMar DeRozan, maybe the frustrations, again, totally spitballing here, not trying to apply any kind of narrative. Maybe the frustration is like, I'm still on this terrible team, and I thought that I could get traded to a contender somewhere. Yeah. Why am I still here?
Yeah, I think that's one of the top reasons. And again, it is, we're halfway through the season. You start to, your body is what it is at that point of your career too. He does a great job. I mean, he's been one of the guys, and I think Russell Westbrook, that have stayed healthy and played in almost every game. Actually have played in every game this season.
And he's done that his entire career.
I know, and they're the two oldest players for the most part. But it is, the human element does come into play. Your body is starting to wear, and you are probably counting down the days till February 5th saying, okay, I have really done what I can do here in a logjam type of roster where the lineups are switching every game for the most part, and I'm playing with different guys on every night. So I feel like I've done enough. I've been a pro to say, hey, a team that can be a contender, please take me away. I bet that is extremely frustrating. And again, we are not DeMar DeRozan. We're not speaking for him.
Sure.
But I'm trying to put myself in a player's position right now, trying to be a pro, but actually knowing too that I am human and I do kind of want better for myself at the end of my career.
Question for both of you. Kyle, jump in on this too. If you're DeMar DeRozan, how intrigued are you by the possibility of going to Golden State?
If I'm DeMar.
If you're DeMar, you don't have to really move. You're just heading an hour and a half down the road, and that's a team that maybe they're not contending for a title necessarily, but you're joining Steph, and you're going to be playing some meaningful basketball for the remainder of this season. The Warriors, if the Warriors aren't a playoff team, something went terribly wrong.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They are probably a playoff team, okay? So at least that's more to say than right now with what's going on here.
Big time.
I mean, for the future, moving forward for the next couple of years of DeMar DeRozan's career, we'd have to see what would happen with that. But I think going somewhere where, I'm not saying there's not pros here. There are pros here. There are future Hall of Famers here. But at the same time, it is an organization that's trying to restart. And Golden State has still made it known that they're kind of in the position where they want to still make it work with the guys that they have there.
As long as Steph is still there.
And as long as Steph is still there. I don't think DeMar would be mad by any means about going down there. Oh, by the way, he is from California, Southern California, but it's not like he's moving across the country or moving to Miami.
Not going to Milwaukee.
Or something like that. Or, yes, some of the smaller markets in Miami or Milwaukee up in the Midwest. So
I guess I would look at it like it could be a lot worse, right? You'd rather go to a team that has a real tried and true chance of competing for a championship, but there's still a world where he goes to Washington for an expiring contract, and I wouldn't want to do that at this stage of my career if I'm DeMar DeRozan. So I guess basketball-wise, I wouldn't be thrilled to go play for Golden State. That doesn't seem to fit what DeMar DeRozan is trying to do play style-wise at this stage of his career, but I guess there are worse options. You could get shipped off to a non-contender in a salary dump.
And the reason why I bring up Golden State is, one, we talked about a hypothetical trade involving that yesterday. But apparently, while we were talking about it, Shams on ESPN was also talking about, that's a name for the Warriors to monitor. And I think that perfectly summarizes the Warriors are in a position to where there's a problem with everything that they come up with that's not Giannis Antetokounmpo. And realistically, I guess it's the Warriors, so maybe they always have a chance to get Giannis.
Well, except Trey Murphy, but the Pelicans don't want to get rid of him.
True. And you're going to have to pay top dollar for that right now in a time where the Warriors are obviously trying to be as stingy as possible. But DeMar, we're going to talk about this in the 1 o'clock hour because I want to dive into, what do the Kings do with certain veterans if they're still on this team after the trade deadline. We'll talk about Zack LaVine. We'll talk about DeMar, Domantas Sabonis, Russell Westbrook, Dennis Schroeder. How differently the Kings handle all of those guys. And Zack LaVine's going to be an interesting one to talk about, Kayla, because Doug Christie's rotations last night were interesting. over these last 3 games, I think Doug has done a really good job of balancing his playing time. But Zack LaVine only played 7 minutes in the second half, and like 2.5 of them were in garbage time at the end of this game when it was pretty much out of reach. And Domantas Sabonis only played 5 minutes in the second half. So you have your 2 highest paid players that are effectively getting benched in the second half. Meanwhile, what we were just talking about, who are the guys that are playing the most for the Kings? Your 2 oldest guys in DeMar DeRozan and Russell Westbrook. And all of us in the media section are going like, is Zach hurt?
I bet.
Is Domas, is his knee bothering? Like, why is he not playing? It's very perplexing.
It is perplexing. And for those of you who have covered this team for a long time, and this year, I feel like this is always a storyline coming out of games where when we get more healthy bodies back, it's like people are losing time. But we can't really ever make sense of whatever time is lost for certain players. Yeah. Whether it be Keon Ellis, which was a DMP, didn't play, or it's Malik Monk for a stretch, or, it's not been as much Zack LaVine. Like, Zack LaVine has usually, when he's healthy, played most of the minutes. I think with Sabonis, him coming back, he's still not starting, right? And Doug Christie said it 2 days ago that it wasn't a minutes restriction, but it's got to be something that's in the back of their mind of what they're doing with him right now, either to ease him up or let the young players play more in the second half because he liked the defense he mentioned out of the younger guys, it seemed, because it almost was like a roundabout way of saying, with Zach at least, like I wasn't getting that defensive effort, even though he was shooting well when he was on the floor in the first half. But it's like there's always a different reason or a different player we're questioning why are they not getting those minutes.
You're speaking to the inconsistencies of...
That's the word.
Of Doug's words to Doug's rotational action, and that's been an issue for this entire season. I also put part of that on just the general inconsistencies of the construction of this roster.
Correct.
But he's so defensive-oriented, and yet certain guys never see the floor, like Devin Carter. Keon Ellis returned, doesn't play last night. Zack LaVine scored 42 points in the Kings' blowout win in Miami earlier this season, and it looked like he was cooking again. I mean, he was efficient offensively. 7 of 10 from the field, 3 of 4 from three-point range, 18 points. He was a -3, which is the best of the starters, but only played 22 minutes in last night's game. So naturally, he was asked about it. Kyle, if you can cue up that sound for us of Doug Christie talking about Zack LaVine and why he didn't play as much in the second half last night. And these comments, Kayla, they're pretty pointed. Sure. And I think they speak to a bigger conversation that we'll have after we hear it.
Sometimes, he was 7 for 10, so obviously shot the ball well. But, we're trying to find rhythm and find a group that is stopping people at the same time. So, Zach will come tomorrow and he'll probably have 40. So that's part of the business. Like some nights you'll have it offensively, but we didn't have a great problem scoring tonight. We had 117 points. But guess what? They had 130, so we need to stop somebody.
Quick curveball. Do you mind hitting the breaking news sounder for us really quick? Because we do have some breaking news.
We have it first.
It's Sactown Sports Breaking News.
Our own Frankie Cardicelli is going to be very excited because the New York Yankees and outfielder first baseman Cody Bellinger are in agreement on a free agent contract, according to Jeff Passan of ESPN. Anyway, back to your regularly scheduled.
Did that really need the breaking news?
Yeah, I mean, Cody Bellinger, baseball.
That's where the Frankie Minute would have.
Yeah,
we need standards for the breaking news sounder.
It was breaking news, okay? We're not getting anything out of baseball really that much at all. So Cody Bellinger is New York Yankee. Anyway.
Next time we're going to have to gatekeep the breaking news sounder from Matt.
I am a fan of Jeff Passan, okay? And anytime I see any kind of news, I'm happy to report
He's
it.
on it.
Happy to talk about it here.
Sorry to break the fourth wall here. Are you doing a bit where you call his name Passan?
Is it not?
It's Jeff Passan.
Oh, is it Passan?
Passan, yeah.
Oh my God, I've said Jeff's name wrong to his face
Good
before.
thing we didn't have him on the show yet.
Well, you love him. He's your guy. But...
I've said his name wrong to his face
before. It was
before.
like French, like Passan.
Passan.
Poisson.
Sorry, at first I thought you were just doing a bit.
No, definitely not a bit.
Okay.
I've met him, and I've said that, and said his last name.
Oh, so you did say that to him.
Oh, for sure. I've 100%, and he's too nice to correct me.
Is he small or tall?
I mean,
I imagine
he's
him
smaller
as
than
like
me.
a small guy.
He's smaller than me, but
Okay.
I think he's average. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right,
Anyway.
Googling Jeff Passan height on the.
Sorry,
It's
I just
Passan.
very random
Jeff
thought there.
Passan. Sorry, Jeff Passan.
That is hilarious.
When someone asked him about it, Jeff Passan tweeted in response, 5'9" and tall enough for your girl.
Oh.
That's Passan energy right there. That's Jeff Passan energy.
Okay.
All right, let's get back on track here. The comments from Doug about Zack LaVine. I mean, he didn't directly say, I benched Zack LaVine because he wasn't playing defense.
Yeah.
But Doug's smart enough to know what he's saying there, and that people are going to take what he's saying and run with it and apply their own simpler meaning to the words that he said. It didn't matter that Zack LaVine was shooting well. He was playing so bad defensively, I benched him in the second half, and I didn't put him back into the game really until it was garbage time and the game was basically over. Like, that's what Doug Christie said.
Yeah. If you could, put an honest button on it, that would probably be what it would interpret to. And I get it. It is probably so hard to answer some of the same questions every single night, especially when you're losing. I mean, they did have that 4-game win streak where it was a little bit of a change of, what you could ask the coach and what you could ask the players. But now we're back to the same type of thing about the rotation, about lack of minutes. Why aren't these guys playing? But these are the questions that have to be asked because that's the storyline of the game. Mm-hmm. And, with Zack LaVine, it's been no mystery throughout the season that he doesn't play defense up to the standard of Doug Christie.
Yeah.
That is not who Zack LaVine is. And unfortunately, he didn't bring him on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Perry didn't bring him on the team. So it's like you're kind of working with what you have. Mm-hmm. And if you have to keep to your standard, I guess that's what you have to do. But it's hard because it's like he was in a scoring groove.
Yep.
And then you yank him because the defense wasn't good enough. But it's very confusing.
So Zach wasn't playing to the standard. Doug, this is something Doug said a lot recently. The standard. So does that mean Russell Westbrook and DeMar DeRozan are playing to the standard more than anybody else on the team? Because those two guys play more than anybody else on the team. And now I'll say both of them make more of a defensive impact than Zack LaVine does. I think DeMar DeRozan has shown nice moments and good growth on the defensive end of the floor this season. His steals are up. DeMar's doing, I don't have a problem with DeMar playing unless it's 36 plus minutes, or in the case of that New York Knicks win, 41 minutes. But Russ and DeMar are playing no matter what, it seems like. And Zack LaVine, on a night where he's cooking, on a night where you're paying Zack LaVine almost $50 million to be the effortless, pure scorer that he is. Mm-hmm. And on a night where he is actually scoring the basketball, you say you want to win basketball games, but you're not going to play him because he's not playing defense. And I get Doug's overall point of, scoring was a problem. We scored 117, but we gave up 130. Yeah, that's because the Heat shot a bazillion % from three-point range.
Wasn't the best at half that they had shot?
They're 64% from three, and they ended up at the game 21 of 42, 50%. That's not all on Zack LaVine.
No,
it just speaks to the inconsistencies. But here's the thing, though, Kayla. Doug Christie deserves a lot of guts because going back to the beginning of the season, going back to training camp, we talked a lot about, is Doug really, if Zack LaVine's not playing defense, if Domantas Sabonis is not playing defense, is Doug really going to bench them, or is that just words?
Yep.
He's benching the two most granted for different reasons. I think Domas has more to do with his injury than anything else. But he's benching his two highest paid, highest profile players on this roster. That takes guts for a first-year head coach.
That's not easy to do because you're definitely, a bad guy when there is a losing season. A head coach is then automatically kind of the bad guy, right? Yeah. Not only for some of the fans, and not everybody just blames the coach, they blame players too.
Sure.
But for players, I mean, especially some of the veteran players who have their mind made up about who they are as a vet, how they play the game. But I think you brought up a good point. Because Doug Christie, ultimately, yes, he wants to win games. He's obviously doesn't have some long contract here. He's trying to prove himself. Part of proving himself, though, right now is trying to build and set up success for the future as well.
Yep.
And so having guys out there that are setting an example of how he wants his teams to play defensively. Is part of, I think, what his long-term goal is. So sticking to something like, I'm not going to have LaVine out there if I don't see him playing the aggressive style of defense I want, because in the long run, I want these younger players, Dylan Cardwell, Maxine Reynaud, and Nick Clifford, to be seeing what hard defense is, what solid defense is. And like you said, DeMar DeRozan, not some crazy solid defender, but the guy plays tough from start to finish. And Westbrook, he makes mistakes, but he plays an aggressive style.
Yeah. Nick Clifford got a lot of run last night, too. Played 24 minutes, played well, 9 points, had a nice dunk, a nice three coming into the game, played some really solid defense. So Nick had a pretty solid performance. Malik Monk played almost 30 minutes. He was the third highest behind Russ and DeMar DeRozan. The handling of Zack LaVine, to me, when you ask Doug Christie about, and he was asked about how involved he wants to be in the decisions of Scott Perry at the trade deadline, and Doug will give the same kind of coach speak answer, which is he's the boss, and we'll have conversations, but he puts the team together, I coach the team. Yeah. And then if you ask Scott Perry, the opposite, I put the team together, but Doug coaches them, and Doug tells them how they're. There's no way that Doug can confidently do this to Zack LaVine and even Domantas Sabonis without having some sort of agreement or backing of Scott Perry, which I think is a good thing, by the way. We have a pretty good idea of how Scott Perry feels about LaVine. We all have a pretty good idea of Zack LaVine, one, is not part of the Kings' future, and two, doesn't really even want to be here. So, Doug, the fact that Doug has the confidence to be able to do it, Zach, you were shooting the ball well, you were doing what we pay you to do, but you ain't playing defense, bud, so sit down on the bench next to me. That suggests to me that Doug has the support around him or the backing of the organization in order to make a decision like that, which to me is a positive. That is a good thing, although that is, a gutsy thing to do, is bench Zack LaVine on a night where he's actually giving you offensive production.
Dude, it's tough. And the one thing, that's why we keep having this conversation about certain players, but particularly it always comes back to Zack LaVine. And that's why I think it would be so much easier to at least remove that piece so that we can start moving forward in terms of how things are delegated minutes-wise, at what you can do without LaVine. It's almost like what's something that just sticks in your gut? Sometimes you just have something to eat and it just sticks there.
Yeah.
And it's please, just I want to be free.
Yeah.
I know that's a little TMI, but you get what I'm saying.
We all been there.
Sticks there.
Yep.
And you're just get out.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about in the 1 o'clock hour, if the Kings aren't able to move Zack LaVine, and I don't think they're going to be because of his contract, what do they do with him if he's still here? What do they do with Sabonis? How do they handle these different veterans? Because each of them, I think there's a different answer for. We'll get into that later on in the show. We're going to take a break. When we come back, though, sticking in the NBA but going a little more broad, the All-Star starters were announced for both the West and the East, and it's a perfect representation of how the West is just hell compared to the East. And we'll talk about who was snubbed from that. That's all coming up next right here on Matt and Kayla.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Sactown Sports 1140 fans, here's a win you don't want to miss with H&R Block. Join us for a ribbon-cutting grand opening with the Chamber of Commerce at the new H&R Block office in Folsom this Thursday, the 22nd, from 11 till 2 p.m. The first 150 guests score free tacos. Plus, you can enter to win gift baskets from local Folsom shops. And new clients filing at this location receive a special discount. Celebrate, win, and save at the new H&R Block in Folsom. A smart play for tax this year with H&R Block.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options. Heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's TREX.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Hey, Sacramento. Roosters on Carlson Drive is celebrating the holidays with great Mexican-inspired food and legendary mimosas. And now, college students and faculty get 15% off all food purchases through the holidays. Enjoy amazing food and great vibes at Rooster Sacramento. See you soon.
Country in the Park is back. May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo. Miranda Lambert. John Party. Chris Young. Turnpike Troubadours. Dylan Scott and more. Line dancing live DJs, Mechanical Bulls, huge festival area, and food trucks. Tickets start at only $68. Country in the Park. May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo with Hoblit Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram Center, and Fairfield in Cal Expo. More info at CITBfest.com.
If you're serious about your golf game, then you need to know about Total Game Fitting at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Whether it's the TrackMan-powered player performance studio for your best fit clubs, or the cutting-edge technology putter fitting studio, or the free Ballnamic ball fitter and 3D foot scanner, the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop offers you total game fitting from head to toe with equipment and apparel. Find your advantage at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop with the latest offering of new golf products in Northern California. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway.
So the 3-game winning streak for Sacramento against Miami is now history. The Heat dominate in California, much the way the Kings dominated in Florida. Final score is 130-117.
It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
We are all so lucky to have the G-Man. And G-Man is so unlucky to have this team.
I know.
Poor G deserves the world when it comes to being able to cover and broadcast basketball.
What a pro.
And boy, he's put up with plenty of things. You know, when G-Man's, some of my favorite calls of G are when he's disappointed and when there are just bad moments in the game and G's just like, well,
that's my favorite.
And when he gets to that mode where he just like, he can't be bothered to try and sugarcoat this, like this is just bad. Oh, that, like Salty G is my favorite. My absolute favorite.
What's funny about it, I met him for the first time I think it was a preseason game, and we did it out there live. And he's obviously been doing this for so long, and he's like the most well-kept.
Yep.
Like he just looks like a pro. Everything is like kept.
He's the perfect human.
Perfect.
He's just a perfect human.
And it's funny because Matt, what just popped up on my timeline is this kind of aggregated account. Is it Dov Kleiman? He does NFL like aggregation, right? We all have that.
I'd probably mispronounce his last name. So.
I know, I probably just did too.
Clement
or something.
Is it Dove or Dov?
I think it's Dove Kleiman. And he puts this thing up, right? And it's this side-by-side of 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan. And it's gone viral because there's a shot of him when he first took the job.
Oh, no.
And then there's a shot of him now. And look, they got the worst shot that they could possibly get.
No.
And he looks like he's aged 25 years.
Hey, man, the NFL.
That'll do it.
Wow,
to
look
you.
how good
Isn't
he looked
that
when
wild?
he took the job. Look at young Kyle Shanahan, handsome, and now the Niners have killed his spirit.
Yeah, so look it up on Twitter if you guys want. But
that's like the before
wild.
and after pictures of NFL.
Presidents?
USA presidents.
Yeah.
Like Barack Obama when he took office versus Barack Obama when he left. It's like, we killed him.
Exactly.
This country killed Barack Obama's spirit.
Yeah. If you want another funny one, look at Cliff Kingsbury when he first got hired by the Cardinals and Cliff Kingsbury today. It's just like he has aged 25 years.
And that's like, I'm, coming from a woman here. Cliff Kingsbury's a good-looking guy, but he is exactly right. He looks like he's like twice as old as he is.
So we took our first day pictures here too. Let's see by the end of our first year. Let's see how destroyed we are doing this radio show.
We just look like we're like 60 years old after this.
I'm already there. I look like I'm 40 years old with the bags under my eyes.
What are you talking about? You look like you're 14.
I have bags under my eyes and I'm 24.
More.
Yeah, sleep a little bit more and I can help you out with that. I'm a skin guru. So just if you guys have any question about skin, men included, just let me know and I'll help you out.
The children behave yourselves. My wife took me to get a gentleman's facial for the first time before. And it was, what do you children? Yeah, you're 14.
We said children.
He's a child over here.
I was prepared for it, and it was still funny.
It's not. It's a real thing, and it was wonderful.
A skin treatment.
I learned what exfoliate means.
Yes.
It was
and all guys should take time to get a skin treatment because you have the same type of things that girls get, blackheads built up.
Yeah.
And when did you go get that? I was gonna say
it was like 6 months ago or something like that. We did it at they're not sponsored, but Thunder Valley.
I love it.
Thunder Valley Spa.
I'm
wonderful.
glad she took you and
it was a nice treat. Also, pedicures, bomb.
Oh yeah.
Men, if you don't like pedicures, you're the problem.
Yeah.
Pedicures are great, except for when they do the hot stone on the bottom of your foot that both tickles and hurts. Get the hell and that
you have
freaking
to be prepared.
and the
loofah.
scrub to they scrub your foot. I'm like, ow, lady. And then no, I don't want colors, but I would look
Caleb
good
Williams
with them.
does.
Yeah, well,
he started a trend in Chicago, I guess.
He's a very, very talented individual who plays football really well, and I am me. Well, Caleb Williams, if he played in the NBA, would probably be an NBA All-Star because of how much of an athlete that he is. Great segue, Matt. The NBA All-Star starters have been announced. Let's start with the East, okay? Jalen Brunson, and we're going to talk about him a little bit later on because Mike Brown's New York Knicks are not doing so hot right now. We'll talk about that later on the show. Cade Cunningham, who's having a phenomenal season for the Detroit Pistons. Tyrese Maxey, who shoots 1 billion times a game, and I love him for it. Jaylen Brown, who might get his hair paint, dye, whatever, the spray on hair on somebody's All-Star jersey. And, of course, Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's the East. 5 very respectable names, right? Really, really, really good players. Absolutely deserve to be All-Stars. Then there's the West.
Oh, gosh.
Steph Curry, naturally. He's going to be there until he's not.
Exactly.
He's pretty good.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, reigning MVP.
Duh.
Luka Doncic, hate him, but he's good. Victor Wembanyama, and Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
Is this not the perfect representation of the fact that the Western Conference is just hell on earth?
Absolutely.
And the East is I'm not saying the East is easy cupcake mode, but compared to the West, I was having a conversation with a Kings assistant coach yesterday during pregame warmups, and we were just talking about the landscape of the NBA. If Giannis Antetokounmpo comes to the West, quit. Yeah. The Kings should quit. Yeah. Every team at the bottom of the West should quit or find a way to make Sacramento, California an Eastern Conference city.
In the East. Yeah.
There is no reason at all that Giannis should come out West. Don't NBA, don't let it happen. The West is too much of a gauntlet of just basketball talent.
They are definitely kind of hovering over all the biggest names.
Yeah.
And the biggest stars for sure. And I know that there were some snubs, right? Which I know you're going to talk about in a minute. But to say nothing about the East talent like you just listed, those are really good players.
They're very talented.
But it's nothing when you list the West players.
Yeah.
It's just a different level overall.
Now, from what I understand this year, because I truly don't really keep up with All-Star Weekend because it gets even more confusing. They're trying to do more things for it. It's going to be like a Team USA versus Team World thing or something this year.
All the time now.
And to be fair, it's a perfect 50-50 split between USA and World talent here. So Steph, obviously, USA. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from Canada, so he's Team World. Luka, Team World. Wemby, Team World. Jokic, Team World. And then the East has a bunch of USA stars.
Yes,
Brunson, Cunningham, Maxey, Jaylen Brown, and then Giannis is obviously Team World.
Yeah.
Team World better wipe the floor with whoever Team USA puts in front of them because Team World is... The fact that we're going to have Jokic, Wemby, and Giannis all on the same team together... I know the All-Star game is a joke anyway, and I went to an All-Star game a couple of years ago in Utah when both Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox made it, and it's cool to be there for all the pageantry and everything. The game sucks. Yeah. It's boring as hell, but I'm here for Team World just wiping the floor with Team USA.
It's funny you say that. When I was down in Nashville doing Sports Talk Radio, Matt and Kyle, listeners, I brought up a conversation about how I just feel like right now the USA product of basketball in terms of the players they're producing from the U.S. is just not to the level of what the world is producing. And you can, again, add Canada in that mix as well. And like, I got nasty feedback from my co-hosts.
I don't think you're wrong
They
at all.
were very mad at me.
I don't think you're wrong
that
at
I
all.
brought that up, and I said, I'm just telling the truth of what I feel like I'm seeing and watching. And it was so funny because it was just like, well, how dare you say that USA basketball in terms of the people, the players we're producing aren't as good. And I'm like, but those are just the facts right now.
Uh-huh. So here, let's just go through MVPs.
Yeah.
Let's stop when we get to a USA player.
Sure.
Last year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Canada.
The year before, Nikola Jokic.
Serbia.
The year before that, Joel Embiid.
Cameroon.
Very good. I'm glad you got that. The 2 years before that, Nikola Jokic twice.
Serbia.
Then the 2 years before that, Giannis Antetokounmpo twice.
Greece.
Then in 2017, 2018, James Harden.
Los Angeles.
The year before that was Russell Westbrook. You have to go back to 2018.
Right.
The last time we had a U.S.-born NBA player win the MVP.
By the way, guess who's not on that list? Wemby and Luka.
That's true. Yeah, they're going to be up there for years to come, right?
So, yeah.
Who's the USA's chance this year at winning MVP? Who is it? Is it Cade? If Detroit somehow makes a magical run?
I would say that probably best bet right now.
It's not Steph unless the Warriors somehow go on a massive second half of dreams.
Right.
This is Basketball Reference's NBA MVP tracker. 82% Jokic, 14% Shea, 1% Luka.
It's over.
Right there.
The top three.
I'm telling you right there.
Yeah, it's over.
Your first American is 1% Cade Cunningham.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's Cade.
There it is.
The talent from around the world, and this is great for the game, by the way. This is not bad America. This is wonderful for the game. Because the NBA, America is still turning out some phenomenal athletes.
Yeah.
But the best in the world right now is coming internationally as the game of basketball grows internationally. We're seeing international basketball from the Olympics to FIBA to whatever be a way more competitive than it was the Dream Team just bulldozing everybody in their path.
Right.
This is great for the game. America, we have to take a little bit of a hit to our pride. The reality is, the majority of our best athletes are playing football, not basketball.
Great point.
That's just the reality of the situation because football is America's game. Basketball is no longer America's game. And baseball hasn't been America's game for a long time.
No. And I'm glad you guys agree with me because
100%.
I felt in that moment that I was made to look ridiculous
You're not.
with the point I was trying to make, but it's not a bad thing. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. We don't have to dominate every single sport. And again, there are still really good American players that are playing in the NBA.
Yes, phenomenal. But like the era of LeBron James is dominating as a USA player for right now.
It's not
there. And like Ant Edwards is, I guess, our next hope of being that dominant American. And Ant was one of the guys that was snubbed in the Western Conference. So
still got Cooper Flag.
Sure. Great. We'll see. I like Cooper, but sure. If he becomes good, then they'll just somehow trade him to the Lakers anyway, because I guess just the Lakers get whatever they want. Hey, we're going to take a break. When we come back, crazy story in international soccer that I want to see if we can make a USA equivalent to. We'll tell you about it after the break.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Celebrate the new year in style with a new Honda from Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. With new Hondas in stock and ready to go, now is the time to save on your favorite Honda in person or online. CR-V, HR-V, Pilot, Accord, Civic, and Ridgeline. It's a new year with endless possibilities. Get the deals that make it easy to say yes. Upgrade and save today at Stockton Honda.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Business moves fast, and so do we. At Bank of Marin, we team up with businesses in the greater Sacramento area to help you drive the lane and score big. With dedicated relationship bankers and local decision-making, we help you move quickly, whether you're upgrading equipment, buying your next building, streamlining cash flow, or fueling growth. From expansion to investment, we're ready to help you win. Bank of Marin, your local business bank. Visit us at bankofmarin.com. Member FDIC.
Meet Morgan Jones. Morgan is about to step into a world unknown to most, thanks to Progressive's Renters Insurance, a place of fresh linens and turn-down service. You see, Morgan temporarily vacated her apartment and has gone to a hotel because a pipe burst in her apartment. A pipe that made her sense of reality and apartment ceiling all come crashing down. Luckily, Morgan checked into Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
The new year is a great time for reflection, to appreciate all the good things in your life, and to prepare your resolutions, or bucket list as I like to call it. 2026 would be the perfect time to introduce someone new to the game of golf. Let them in on the fun. Or if you never played, it's a wonderful time to start. Maybe go to a driving range. Maybe take an introductory lesson. If you're an established golfer, maybe you want to get fitted for a new set of golf clubs. Maybe you want to take some refresher lessons to sharpen up your game. Consider a golf getaway, either with your significant other or a group of buddies. It's a great way to play new golf courses, eat some tasty new foods, and certainly laugh a lot with your friends. If you normally use a golf cart, consider walking with a push cart, or maybe even lightening your bag and carrying your golf clubs. Go back and play where you played your first round of golf, or your all-time favorite round. Remember why you play the game and how much it means to you. Leave the course in better condition than you found it. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Guys, your New Year goals start now. Get limited time savings on our most popular treatments at Revive Men's Health. Visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com to see if you qualify to save hundreds.
A.m. to 2 p.m. Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
Well, we were going to have the debut of Frankie's Yankee Minute and him talking about the big new signing of Carlos Correa with the Yankees, but he's a coward. And he's got other things to do, like take care of his son or something.
Carlos Correa signed with the Yankees?
No, you know what? Cody Bellinger. Whatever. Who cares, Kyle? I'm frustrated. I'm emotional because I had an opportunity to debut the segment that I'm most excited about.
And now
Frankie just says no. So he wants to do it in person tomorrow. Fine.
Oh, okay.
Fine, Frankie.
Whatever you want, Frankie.
We'll just change our show around what's best for you, guy.
We bring the boom. That's what we do.
That always makes me want to go into my old cheer dance days. Like the boom. Yeah.
We bring the boom. That's what we do.
How long did you do cheer for? All through high school?
Well, I danced primarily, but we would do cheer we would intermix cheer. We do not like to be called cheerleaders if you danced.
Yeah, the dance team.
Yeah, so I've danced since I was 3 years old.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very nice.
I was a captain of the dance team.
Well, shout out Frankie Cardicelli for being a disappointment.
Yeah, Frankie.
Moving on to...
We bring the boom. That's what we do.
Frankie sucks. Okay. Manchester City. Have you heard of them? That's one of the biggest soccer clubs on the planet. It's Christopher Laud's absolute favorite team
that's for
ever.
Laud's
Yeah.
team?
Oh, God. He's obsessed.
Okay,
Christopher Laud is
gotcha.
obsessed with Manchester City.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, Manchester City plays in what's called the Champions League. And the Champions League, the biggest international, club tournament. Not like countries, but clubs. And they typically make a deep run. Well, apparently they went to Norway to take on a club called, I'm going to butcher this, I have no idea what the correct pronunciation of Bodo. It says Bodo/Glimt. I don't know. They lost.
Names.
They lost to Bodo/Glimt in the Champions League in Norway. And so about 400 Manchester City supporters, because and that doesn't sound like
traveling.
a lot. Yeah, they traveled to support the club.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, after the loss, the Manchester City is so embarrassed and so ashamed by this loss that their captains said in a statement that it's the least that they can do to refund the cost of the tickets for all of those supporters. They were so embarrassed by this loss. They are the captains, the players, not the organization. The players are footing the bill to pay for these supporters' tickets.
And how much money was the tickets?
I don't know.
But they're not going to be cheap because we're talking about soccer at the highest
I don't
level.
think it's going to be like USA prices necessarily, but I mean, like, I want to know, does that include travel or is that just the tickets?
Hotel?
Regardless.
Either way, it's a big deal for Manchester City to play in Norway.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The Champions League provides some pretty crazy matchups at times.
That is something I have really never heard of.
Right.
At least here in America when it comes to professional athletes.
What is the equivalent in America? Like,
Oh my
is there an
gosh.
equivalent? Like,
It'd have to be at NFL level, right? Because
I would
of the
think
money.
so. But like Kyle, you brought it when we were talking about this before. It's like college football, but the players wouldn't have to pay for that because it's a school thing.
There's no comparison to professional sports because it's like if the 2007 Patriots. Wow, that was terrible. 2007 Patriots lost to the 0-16 Lions.
Yeah.
They're still technically in the same league.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would be like Kansas goes to play at Southeast Missouri and they lose to Southeast Missouri.
I think let's say it's like the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, maybe that's not a good example because they weren't very good this year. The Philadelphia Eagles, because they're the reigning Super Bowl champions. Mm-hmm. Let's say for some reason they just had a game that it wasn't a meaningless game. It was in the Champions League.
Sure.
And they played the champions of the UFL. Or XFL or whatever they call it now. AFL. What do they call it now? It's The Rock.
USFL?
USFL.
The league I don't watch.
That one.
Yeah,
the other bad football during the summer. And they lost to that team.
Okay.
And then, but it's 400 supporters. You're not paying for a stadium full of people who are upset that you lost.
Right.
But I guess that would be the equivalent of like a NFL superpower losing to a AFL or UFL. What I don't know what it's called. Whatever
USFL.
the Rocks USFL.
Yeah.
That league.
I don't think it's called that.
Is it? I'll look it up.
They united together, the UFL and USL.
What?
I don't know.
Well, I thought it was the XFL.
It used to be the XFL.
There's a lot of things. Arena. Is Arena still in existence?
The
Arena
AFL?
football,
CFL?
Canadian Football League.
It's the UFL. I just was doing it for the joke. It's called the UFL.
Yeah, the UFL. Okay, the UFL.
UFL.
Yeah, it would be, I think it's the equivalent of like the Eagles losing to a UFL team.
Yeah, if that were to be some cute little thing that
Right.
they did, right? Like our pros are going to play against your minor league team.
Yeah.
And then like I think what Kyle was saying, if it was a big, huge program, very well known, I'll just put Alabama out there, against like a Division II type of team. The players wouldn't pay for it, but let's just say like the university would pay for the refund.
The point is, I don't think we'd ever see this ever in American sports, but it's pretty, like that's pretty
crazy.
And I guess good on them for being willing to do that.
Yeah. What they get together and say,
they're just
this is what we got to do.
Well, they make enough money at Manchester City. If you're a captain of
Lot of
Manchester City,
moolah.
you're making a boatload
Uh-huh.
of money. Well, Frankie Cardicelli let us down and didn't call in to talk about his Yankees signing Cody Bellinger because he's a coward. So we're going to go to TC instead. TC, welcome into the show, my guy. How are you?
Man, what's going on? Matt, Kayla.
What's up, TC?
Hey, just vibing. So I'm going to come with a twist right now. Y'all going to like this. We're going to get to Perry second. First, I like what Doug Christie is doing. This is what I've been saying from the jump, Matt. You heard me on here. Frankie, you heard me in there. But listen, Kyle, y'all heard me when I said bench these veterans. I don't care about what they talk. If you're not playing the way I want you to play, bro, you're bench. I don't really care about the roster. that's irrelevant to me. Successful teams and successful head coaches make decisions that way. Out here in Sacramento, for some reason, we get caught up in that. Perry, I love Perry, but we to a point right now, I know you can't give players away, but we talking about getting the stinks out of the locker room to move forward with your pitcher. It's all about talk around the league, right? Teams are going to talk about you. Oh, they gave Zack LaVine away for nothing. They're crazy. Well, would they still say the same thing? The league say the same thing if we gave them away for pennies and turned around and went to the NBA Finals? No, they wouldn't, bro. It's just about talk. So I get it, Perry, but we're going to have to move off some of these guys for pennies on the dollar, bro.
TC, thank you so much for the call. Yeah, TC reacted to a conversation that we had at the beginning of the show, which is like the Doug Christie showing some guts to bench Zack LaVine last night for not playing the defense that he wanted, even when Zack was playing well. And that's something that I didn't think realistically he was going to be able to do when this season started. But again, that's also not something that I feel he can do without the backing of the front office. And we've already kind of known the writings on the wall for Zack LaVine specifically and his future in Sacramento. We don't know if the Kings are going to be able to move on from him. And again, at 1 o'clock, we'll talk about with Zack or with Domas or with DeMar or Dennis Schroeder, Russell Westbrook, what's next for those players if the Kings don't move on from them? Because the answer is different for all of those guys.
Yeah, I don't know if even Doug knows yet if he still has all of them.
And Zack's the most polarizing, though. Like, what do the Kings do with Zack LaVine? Because like Keon Ellis, I think the writing is on the wall.
Yeah, and I wish we had some sort of more of an idea of who could be moved and when they could be moved. But that's, I guess, what we're going to be waiting to the deadline. Like you said, it might be all happening right then because that's when teams pretty much have to do it. They can't just sit on their hands anymore and say, well, you make the move. No, you make the move. Someone's got to make the move.
I don't want to even fathom the idea of the Kings just not really doing anything of substance, and I think it's getting more and more likely by the day.
That could be it.
Just because of the landscape of the NBA and how like this trade market just is brutal right now, and the just everybody is scared money and not wanting to move big. Like all these conversations, all this smoke, but ultimately nothing might come of it. That's how I felt like the free agency period was, and if that happens again, not only is that terrible for the league, but good luck trying to convince Sacramento Kings fans to stay invested in this group as it is right now for another 35, 40 games.
I think they already have done, like they always do, a great job at continuing to stay interested because they do want to see what is the move that sparks everything for this team to move forward.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about Diana Russini joining us, a huge guest from The Athletic. She was on with Colin Cowherd this morning. So the fact that we can get some of her time, and we'll talk about all these crazy coaching searches and coordinator searches that are happening around the NFL. Diana Russini from The Athletic joins us next right here on Matt and Kayla.
Download the Sactown Sports app.
Sacramento sports in your pocket. This is Sactown Sports 1140.
What's up? We're talking to my friend Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Chad, tell everybody what's happening for the Start Something New sales event.
Kick off the new year exploring all California has to offer when you save up to $9,000 off MSRP on the new 2026 Jeep Wrangler Willys. This modern blend of nostalgia and military-inspired styling, coupled with enhanced off-road capability, is the epitome of what Jeep has always been.
It's great seeing this modern take on everything that has made a Jeep a Jeep.
I love how they're celebrating their Jeep history, and you can't miss the Jeep DNA everywhere you look. Whatever you're looking for, Hoblet is the place to go. From new Jeep Willys to hundreds of certified pre-owned vehicles at the Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Supercenter with over 100 vehicles under $30,000.
Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$9,000 total net savings on select new 2026 Jeep Wrangler Willys after $4,500 factory rebates and $4,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include $3,500 select inventory cash on select inventory, $1,000 Conquest bonus cash for eligible non-SFS owners or lessees. 5% savings. See dealer for details.
You live for this. The wins, the losses, the slam dunks, and the buzzer beaters. The dream that this is your team's year. Hope, it's what keeps you coming back. So you represent with anticipation and with pride. Because when everything's on the line, your support means everything. That's why the NBA Store is here to support you. Check out the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Sactown Sports 1140 fans, here's a win you don't want to miss with H&R Block. Join us for a ribbon-cutting grand opening with the Chamber of Commerce at the new H&R Block office in Folsom this Thursday, the 22nd, from 11 till 2 p.m. The first 150 guests score free tacos. Plus, you can enter to win gift baskets from local Folsom shops. And new clients filing at this location receive a special discount. Celebrate, win, and save at the new H&R Block in Folsom. A smart play for tax this year with H&R Block.
KHDK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140.
It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
We are starting the second hour of this show with a real treat. Kayla Anderson not only is a phenomenal partner to have here as a radio host, she is one killer producer as well. She got us Steve Weish last week, and now we get the one and only Diana Russini from The Athletic joining us to walk us through all of these coaching carousel moves and news and stuff. And one of the things we'll definitely talk to her about, maybe a little bit of a surprise. You know what? She's here now, so let's bring her in right now, Kayla. Joining us from The Athletic, so generous with her time because, I mean, she's running around doing everything. So the fact that, I mean, maybe it's not quite the Matt and Kayla Show level, Diana, but I know you're very, very busy, especially during this time of year. So thank you so much for making the time with all the jobs that are available. And all these names that are floated out there, kind of a two-part. One, how much fun are you having right now? And two, is this one of the more unique coaching carousel periods that we've ever had in the NFL with just half the league looking for their new guy?
Well, if you define fun as like 30-second showers and
those are fun.
Like 16 coffees a day. Yeah, no, it's fun because it moves fast and I get bored very easily. So this has been one of the most entertaining news cycles and coaching, hiring, firing cycles that I've probably ever covered. Just because there's so much happening, but there's so much that's connected. There's so much connective tissue with all these job openings. You know, if this guy takes this job, who's he bringing? But that guy's also a candidate for this one. So that has been hard to keep in order, but also very entertaining. So with that said, you know, we're at a point where news is literally changing by the hour. So whatever we're going to talk about here, I'm sure will change in the next hour or so. But Kayla, you've been around the Tennessee Titans for years, and so you understand what they're going through right now. And you understand that process. You know how ownership thinks. And they're sitting here watching all of this unfold, waiting to see where they're going to land at their offensive coordinator position.
That's what I wanted to come out of the gates asking you about, because if you're on Diana's page, go follow her. Does great work at The Athletic. You can see her all over on all platforms. But your latest news was obviously there is some interest with the Buffalo Bills and Brian Daboll as the head coach, but maybe if he doesn't land there, he could take a offensive coordinator position, and that could be with the Titans. What's the latest?
Yeah, so the situation there is Brian Daboll has options, a lot of them. He's got the Philadelphia Eagles, he's got the Tennessee Titans, and then you also have the head coaches, or at least the head coach candidates who are coaching in this weekend's games, who could possibly be head coaches for other organizations, and he would join them as the offensive coordinator. So tons of options for him, which is a good thing, right? Considering he was fired just a few months ago, and now, he's one of the top offensive-minded candidates here in the mix. And look, I think from his perspective, he had so much success with Josh Allen. He's from Buffalo. This is the dream job. This would make all the sense in the world for him to land there. And I do think he's got a really good shot at this Buffalo head coaching job, because they have very little patience right now, right? They want to win. The window of Josh Allen is open. Now's the time. And they've had 8 shots. And this was probably their best opportunity this last year without Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Joe Burrow playing the postseason. And they didn't get it done. So we'll see how this pans out. But I'm curious to see if he doesn't get Buffalo, how he's going to look at the coordinator jobs, because some coaches want to jump in and coach veteran guys and be able to just contribute and kind of take a back seat to what they're already doing. And others, and I tend to believe Brian's a little bit more like this based on what I saw with Jackson Dart, some want to mold, right? And build from the bottom up. And that's Cam Ward. And that would make all the sense in the world, which is why I think he really is leaning towards taking that Tennessee job.
Ooh. Diana Russini from The Athletic, an amazing national NFL reporter. It's a true treat to have her on the show here. Just the second week of this show's existence, Diana, so you're helping us out more than you know. There's so many moving pieces, so many jobs still available, but early on at this point, do you have a big winner or some big winners that you think, man, they've nailed this period, they struck at the right time? Anyone jump to mind for you with that?
Yeah, Matt, I would say it's probably the Giants, right? Like, they're lucky because John Harbaugh wanted them. But the fact that they were willing to go hard, and they pushed all their chips in to make sure that there wasn't any doubt, any concerns, because Harbaugh was going to have a lot of suitors. And I don't necessarily know if the Giants had some intel that Baltimore was going to fire him. I'm going to guess no, because I do think that decision from ownership came down pretty much at the final hour, where they decided to move on and part ways with a guy that had been there for 18 years. So the fact that the second he was available, they did everything. They called Tom Coughlin. Obviously, he's a legend in this New York area where I live, to basically shed light on what it's like to be the head coach of the New York Giants. And John ate it all up. And he's like a Labradoodle the way he loves football. He's just like bouncing around. And that's what I do think that's what the Giants need at this moment. And look, credit to the Falcons, right? They've got Kevin Stefanski in-house. Could you imagine if Stefanski knew Josh Allen would have been available to go coach him? I don't know if he's taking the Falcons job, right? So credit to Matt Ryan for closing that deal in his first time as being the president of football operations there.
We got the talented Diana Russini of The Athletic with us this morning on Matt and Kayla. Diana, bringing it now to the West Coast. I've been all over the place. I'm in the South, now I'm in the West. Clearly, the 49ers have done a phenomenal job with what they've been left with this season. And season coming to an end, and obviously then now losing Robert Saleh, who goes over as the head coach now of the Tennessee Titans. Did you like this move, and what do you feel like the Niners will do to replace that defensive coordinator spot?
Yeah, I do think that's going to be a challenge for them, because we've seen what this Niners defense looks like without Robert Saleh, and he's a phenomenal defensive coach. And to be able to do what they did with the injuries that they had was obviously the reason why Robert Saleh is the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, right? Like, they saw that and realized there is something that he can bring to Tennessee to really instill a personality and an image and a culture that was really missing over the last 2 seasons. So look, I think Raheem Morris, we'll see where he winds up. he's getting head coaching opportunities, but he is a name to watch as someone that I could see San Francisco being interested in bringing in. But in terms of San Francisco as a whole moving forward, I had a vote for Coach of the Year, and I think I'm regretting it a little bit. I already submitted my vote. I voted for your former Titans head coach, Mike Vrabel, because I do think what he's done in New England has been just magnificent, and being around it. And I've been there a few times. It's awesome. But what Kyle did is just like, it was hard. It was hard to do this. Because I do think this was Shanahan's best coaching season, despite the fact that they did, they obviously lost against Seattle, and it wasn't pretty, but that is some Kyle Shanahan's gonna be in San Francisco for a very long time, just because of what he's able to do every single year. But yeah, I think that's obviously something that they're gonna be working on here. They knew Saleh was gonna probably take that Titans job, and that was Saleh's number one spot. Like, that is the job he wanted. There was no other gig he was putting the effort into. Except that one. And it had a lot to do with Cam Ward and the belief that he has in him. And someone once said living in Nashville is pretty cool too. Yeah, I think you know something about it.
Right.
Diana, all signs point to Mike McDaniel going to join Harbaugh on the Chargers. And how did this come about? Is it there wasn't as much of a demand for him to continue as a head coach, or did he potentially prefer taking a step back and joining Jim over there in Los Angeles? What brought that about? Because it surprised some people when we saw that news.
Yeah, I think that Mike McDaniel realized that a head coach opportunity probably wasn't going to happen, even though he met with Tom Brady on Monday in Miami for the Raiders job. But I think the opportunity to work in Los Angeles, his wife is from California, with Justin Herbert. I think for him, this was the best situation for him as a play caller. And look, I still think that there was actual interest in him at head coach. He bowed out of the Cleveland Browns search. But I think timing is such a big part of all this. Like, we just used Stefanski as an example of, like, imagine if he just waited a few more hours, right? Mm-hmm. Like a few more hours, 24, maybe someone would have tipped him off early that ownership was moving on Saturday night. All that plays a part in this. Now look, we got to wait for it to become official. No one's told me anything different. I know that they were at dinner last night and he seems all in. He told people that he's close to, like, I'm taking this job. So it'll work out. The personalities are I mean, I hope there's cameras on their interaction. I hope they have cameras rolling right now. Yeah. Like, I think, wouldn't you go run your phone right now to watch? Like, I want to see Jim Harbaugh and Mike McDaniel.
Yes.
Just have a drink. Like, just have one drink together. And I want to hear what they're talking about.
It's like the oddest couple. It's like Saban and Kiffin when they worked with each other at Alabama. Like, just a weird pairing.
Just mic them up every game.
Yeah,
mic them
exactly.
up every game.
And that's great content. Diana Russini of The Athletic, she's here with us, kind enough to take some time. Diana, Matt here is a poor Raiders fan.
Pray for me.
Okay. And I feel like we have not really heard, except for you just mentioned Mike McDaniel, interviewing over there. Obviously not going that route, but what is going on with the Raiders? Are they just like sitting on their hands waiting for everybody else to make moves, or what are we doing?
No, they're not.
Okay.
So here's something I learned doing this for a few years. When teams are quiet like this, that means that they probably have someone playing in the championship games that's coaching. There's someone that's coaching this weekend that they have at the top of their board, and they can't talk to them. So they're not going to waste their time just interviewing candidates if they kind of already know who they're going after. So I would expect somebody coming out of this weekend's championship round to wind up being their head coach. I know in their search, they really have been focused on an offensive-minded guy, right? So who would that be of who's playing this weekend? Davis Webb is a name that you're going to hear a lot. He is the Denver Broncos quarterback coach. He was in New York as a player, as a backup quarterback. He was a coach there. He was a coach in Buffalo. He played behind Josh Allen in Buffalo. They have a really good relationship. I actually expect him to get an opportunity to interview for the Buffalo job as well. Wow. But I think they will play call. Obviously, Sean McVay is the great example that everybody wishes, hopes, and dreams. He's going to be it. But I think they're going.
We're struggling to get Diana here. We're going to try and get her back because I'm really curious. Of course, it's on the Raiders. I want to know.
It's on the Raiders.
I want to know. Maybe we can hopefully get the connection back with her. If not, we can switch to the phone. Every once in a while, those darn internet connections.
Well,
if this is not the most Raider thing, though.
It
this
really
is. Here's what the Raiders are.
That's what the Raiders cause.
That's the Raiders.
They cause,
Tom Brady flipped a switch somewhere and said, "Nope, say nothing. We're being secretive over here with the Raiders."
I found that interesting, though, that she said, and Diana is so plugged in across the NFL. I found it interesting that was a thing that happens. Like when they go completely quiet, which the Raiders really have.
Yeah.
Because we have not heard a lot of coaches tied to the Raiders. Like we've heard a couple interviews. She just mentioned Mike McDaniel there. But it makes sense now that it could possibly be one of these, assistants or offensive coordinators for the teams that are in the Super Bowl. That makes complete sense.
Yeah, and one of the things I hope if we get the chance to get Diana back on to ask her about is just kind of the philosophy of teams taking their time to make sure they get this decision right, because you have two huge jobs in the Bills and the Ravens. Those are kind of win-now jobs versus a team like the Raiders or the Jets or Cleveland. It's kind of starting from the ground up, and there's naturally a sense of anxiousness or urgency, like we got to get this right, and we got to make sure we get our person before anybody else comes and scoops them up. Versus in order to get this decision right, we need to take our time. We need to go through the process, interview, have these conversations, and truly find the right person for the job. I'm curious what her thoughts on that are. But Kayla, I mean, what blew my mind was the Tennessee Titans job was Robert Saleh's number one spot. I mean, why? The Titans very well. Why do you think Saleh would be like, that's where I want to go?
Yeah, I think in terms of Saleh, that's just a thing that, like you said, she said he had his mindset on that. Maybe a smaller market. You get to work with Cam Ward. You get to mold a little bit. And I think we have Diana back on.
We do. Diana Rossini from The Athletic back on with us.
She's working hard that her internet connection's like.
Diana, is that not the most?
No, it's my internet is exhausted. It's like me. Like my sleep schedule's been so weird. I took a call from a coach at 2:30 in the morning the other day, and my husband was like, "Do you ever just stop and just look at your life?" I'm like, "Yeah. You should look at your life. We live well because of this stupid stuff."
You're welcome, honey.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Thank you, Matt. I'm going to say that. You are welcome.
Listen.
I think Robert Saleh, by the way, I heard you guys just talking about that. I think what he can bring is so much passion and energy. I know we joked about the Labradoodle with John Harbaugh in New York. I think Saleh's kind of that. He's a little bit of a version of that. And I covered him in New York. And, I do think he wants to prove that he is a good coach. I don't think he likes the way it shook out in New York. So I'm not only expecting to see like a focused Robert Saleh, I'm expected to see almost one that has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder to prove that he's a stud. And then I think Tennessee needs that. It was I didn't even know what they were the last 2 years. They were so boring.
I don't either, Diana.
So now it's the one thing, Kayla, and I know you could agree with this. I think anyone putting out or having the opinion that this is the way for Amy Adams Strunk to sort of instill the Mike Vrabel qualities. I do commend them for looking for those qualities, but these are going to be very different men. I've covered both of them for years. They are polar opposites when it comes to approach. And while there's the same energy and intensity at times, they are very different. And I think if you're going to tell Titans fans that's what you're getting in Robert Saleh, they're going to be very disappointed because it's not going to be that.
I'm glad you said that. It's very well said.
Diana, the most perfect Raider thing happens. You start telling us what the Raiders might do, and then the world falls apart. So nobody can, no one can truly explain what they're doing over there with Raider Nation. But I want to make sure before we wrap up with you, I ask about two big names in particular. One we have our comment section going, Matt, ask about Sean McDermott. Yeah. Ask about Sean McDermott. What's next for him? And I don't know if the Raiders are in that sweepstakes at all or who would be. And then the other one loosely is Mike Tomlin as well. It sounds like after the amount of time that he spent over there in Pittsburgh, he's going to take his time a little bit. Or do you think someone tries to swoop in and make a offer you can't refuse type deal for him?
You're the first show to ask me about Sean McDermott, and I'm glad you are, because you're right. Like he's almost being forgotten about, and yet he fits the formula for what a lot of these teams could use and need, and he is a really good coach. But I do think he was stunned that he was fired. And I don't mean stunned from he didn't think he deserved it, because he's a very humble person. And every coach always knows that that's going to be on the table. It's the job. But, he's got young kids. I think there's a lot of factors in moving your family and the things that you got to think about. So I can tell you there were teams having discussions about bringing him in on Monday morning after he was fired. But I have yet to hear that anyone put in for any formal interview with him. So we'll see if, and I'm curious to see if maybe that's him also maybe saying I may need some time. You see a lot of coaches take 1 year off, and sometimes that's valuable. You actually, your stock goes up because there's a little mystery to you. Yeah. Whereas if you jump back in, you're a coordinator or a head coach and you stink, it doesn't really help you. So that's the Sean element to it all. And the Mike Tomlin, he's done. He's tired. Yeah. He was ready. He's ready to move on. And I'm sure he's going to pop up on our TV screens here and there. And but in terms of coaching a football team, I think he's going to take a break.
Gotcha.
Diana, one more from me. When are you going to sleep? In all seriousness, and I feel like the Super Bowl, we got to ask you one question on the two teams that you feel like are going to get to the finish line. I have a feeling about one of those. I'm interested to see who you feel like is going to end up there.
I think it's going to be the Denver Broncos facing the LA Rams.
No!
Sean Payton is the most insane leader I have ever been around in terms of knowing how to get everyone around him to step up and play better. Like, I'm going to tell you right now what he's telling his team right now. He's going, Jarrett Stidham is going to be fine. He's going to be really good. You guys all stink and need to be better. And he will find ways to motivate them in a way so they all play out of their minds. I don't think it's going to be easy. I think New England is going to have that same attitude of, road warriors. They've yet to lose on the road all year. Like they travel well. So it's not going to be easy, but I do think that the Broncos being at home is going to be such a good advantage. And their defense was okay last week. I think they're going to step it up this week. And Matthew Stafford, he is yet to be phenomenal in the playoffs. And this is just what he does well. So I think this is a game he puts the cape on that we go, holy heck, he is a Hall of Famer, no questions asked. So I can see him getting to the Super Bowl, and then I think they're going to probably be the team that wins it. So we'll see what I know. I don't know much. So, that's how I kind of think it's going to shake out. And as for sleep, I am definitely trying to get a babysitter for Friday night. Not to sleep. Let's have like a glass of wine, because you can't do this and like have a cocktail because.
Says who?
I mean, I guess I could. Maybe I could.
You could.
Hey,
having drunk conversations with owners like, so what are you doing?
You're Superwoman. You could do it.
I officially green light that for this show. When you come on this show, you can have a glass of wine with you, Diana.
We'll do a happy hour together, guys.
Let's go.
It was early there, so I don't want people judging.
Well, you've been amazing with your time. I'm going to sneak one more in though, because you obviously don't get as far as you've gotten in your career without having just an inherent love of the game of football and the NFL. This season was so unique and so crazy in terms of the parity and the teams that are still here, the teams that didn't even make it, like the Chiefs not being in the postseason. What did you make of this year and just the chaos and turnover that the league seems to be in that's opened up opportunity for so many teams?
I've never gone through a season where I was asked about teams in late December and I still couldn't answer the question, are they good? I didn't know. And I had that feeling about a lot of different quarterbacks too, more specifically, because there was just such up and down play. And there were so many teams that were left in the end that I just felt like could win it all. And you're seeing now, even in the playoffs, I don't know if I would have predicted. Well, actually, I can tell you, I did not predict the Patriots to be playing this weekend at all. I wasn't sure the Seattle Seahawks could be this good with Sam Darnold. I didn't expect, Mike McDonald to be able to allow Sam to be this productive, especially when he just left Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell, who's a phenomenal quarterbacks coach. And I thought that would be the best version of Sam, yet he's even better. So I just like the fact, like you talk about having passion for the game. I think I like it so much because it is so unpredictable. And I feel like I have, I'm a lot older than you guys, and I think I've covered every version of football, and yet I'm still doing things I've never done before. And I think that's probably why I love it so much, because I just don't know. Every day I'm kind of challenged of, all right, how am I going to report this, or how can I find out about this story? And I can't believe I'm digging on this, because what is this? But it happens all the time. So it's probably, I'm lucky I found something I love.
We love you, D. And if we're down at the Super Bowl, which we're pushing to get down there, we're definitely meeting up. So.
Oh, you guys, you're a new show. You guys got to get down there. You got to tell everybody about you, and you'll land all the big guests. So, for your program director listening, I'm campaigning. Get Kayla and Matt to the Super Bowl.
Listen, Kayla's I'm just following Kayla, and I'm holding her bags in her water. She's just gonna take care of everything for us. But you're the best, Diana. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon. Get some rest if you can. Okay.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me, and congratulations on the show, guys. Good luck, and I'll hopefully be popping on with you guys in the off season to talk all the Niner moves.
Can't wait. Thanks, absolute Steve. Pleasure, man. What a blessing for us to get Diana Russini from The Athletic. I mean, it doesn't get much better, much more plugged in, and someone who, what I love about those conversations is it's not just someone who knows what's going on, but loves to answer those questions, or loves to dive in, and loves to be curious about what's going on too. Mm-hmm. So phenomenal work again by Kayla Anderson to bring Diana in here. Boy, where do we even start with some of the things that she said? There's like so many doors open and windows closed after that conversation.
Exactly. And again, the Raiders' fascination, I don't know, we cut off at a little of that, but it does look like if you're a Raiders fan,
they have their eye on someone.
They have their eye on someone, which is good. At some point, I am curious to ask somebody, like, how much say does Tom Brady have in this whole hiring? Because I think we just associate Tom Brady's name with he's part of the organization now. How much does he really have say in hiring?
Yeah, let's work on, and this is me talking to myself here, Inside Baseball. Let's work on getting a Raiders guest in here, a Raiders insider in here. And I have a few in mind because, I mean, how do you tell Tom Brady he's not the one making the decision, right? It's Tom's decision. It just feels like it's Tom's team at this point.
He might as well be the GM.
I mean, minority owner, we know what the business is the moment Tom Brady stepped into that building. It's like, yeah, there's a Tom Brady takeover that's about to happen. And, hey, maybe Tom can be the one to finally turn the Raiders organization around. I'm not holding my breath because I will die probably before things go right with the Raiders. But what a crazy time that the NFL is just in period, from the parity in the league to all these jobs opening up. I wonder if this is going to be an off-season to be studied. And typically, like, we know the NFL has become such a year-around empire and entity, but a lot of it's centered around the draft. What are they going to do in the draft? And we'll talk a little bit later about just the sheer amount of draft picks that the 49ers have.
Yep.
But this is going to be an off-season that the draft is going to come up before we know it, because we're dealing with this coaching carousel that's going to take us all the way to.
And it's what kind of happened last year too. There was quite a bit of coaches in the mix, not as crazy as this season, but you're right. There's like no sleep for the weary in this, because especially like people like Diana, who she said she took a phone call at like 2 a.m. for information.
Yep.
It's nonstop.
Game's the game.
That is what it is. And so, it's pretty much like coaching carousel to the draft, and then you're back to the season.
Well, we got Diana's thoughts on Mike McDaniel and going to the Chargers, but what did you make of that? Because when we saw that news, I was at the Kings game last night, and a lot of us immediately were like, whoa, Mike McDaniel's not going to be a head coach. He's going to the Chargers. What were your reactions to? That's a big step for him.
I was a little shocked. I thought that he was probably more so in the mix for a head coaching job, just because there's a lot of teams that want to go offensive-minded head coaches, and there's not that many left in the cycle.
Yeah.
Like Sean McDermott's a defensive-minded guy. Brian Daboll is, but we're hearing him really only mentioned with the Bills as a head coach. All the other coordinator jobs. It was a little surprising, but maybe Mike McDonald too was thinking, I'm just going to go somewhere. I like the big city life, going from Miami to LA.
Yep.
And I want to just be focused on being the best OC I can be with a quarterback that I can maybe continue to try to help get to the next level with Justin Herbert. And then we'll see where it goes in the next cycle.
I'm still fascinated to know what in the world do the Browns and Jets do. Like what? Who? You can even throw the Raiders
Matt,
into this conversation too.
Why don't we just throw them out of the league?
Yeah, I mean, would people notice?
Yeah, like you don't get coaches yet, you're out.
Did we have this conversation on the air or off the air though yesterday? Because we were talking about like between the two, like what's the more ideal job between the Browns and the Jets?
It was off the air.
And it was off the air.
Yeah.
And to me, I feel like without hesitation, it's the Browns because at least like the dog pound is there, that fan base is there. I think the Browns brand is great. They just haven't had success. But if you're the one, very similar to what we talk about here in Sacramento, whichever coach like gets the Kings to win a title or whichever players get the Kings to win a title here in Sacramento, they'll be immortalized forever.
You are.
If you're the coach or the quarterback or whoever that brings the Cleveland Browns to the Super Bowl, whether they win it or not, doesn't matter. You are God in Cleveland, up there with LeBron.
You really are. Those fans, I was in Ohio for a little bit, so I covered from afar the Browns. Those fans are awesome.
Yeah.
And they've gone through heartbreak after heartbreak, and you're right. It would be there because New York, the Jets, they're the little brother of the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you did take them to the Super Bowl again and found, excitement there, they're always going to want more.
Yeah. Well, we're going to keep the coaching conversation going, but we're changing it to the NBA. A coach that we're very familiar with here in Sacramento. Mike Brown, trouble in New York with the Knicks. Things are not going well over there. And, as much as I love my guy Mike, there's a pattern in Mike's career about players not always seeing eye to eye with him. Sounds like that's happening again in the Big Apple. We'll talk about that next on Matt and Kayla.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Trust and Will.
My dad and I were always close, but some things we just didn't talk about, like his will. After he was gone, we found out he didn't have one, and it created a lot of stress during a time of grief.
Creating a will can be hard to think about, but avoiding it can lead to greater difficulty for the people you love. That's why Trust and Will makes estate planning simple. Create a will online in as little as 30 minutes.
Now, I have a will in place to make sure my loved ones are protected. With Trust and Will, it was easy and affordable, and I got peace of mind knowing my wishes are clear.
Trust and Will.
Get 20% off when you visit trustandwill.com/plan. That's trustandwill.com/plan to get 20% off. trustandwill.com/PLAN.
The Travel Guys, new on KHTK 1140 every Saturday at 11 a.m.
We'll make you a smarter traveler. Tips you can use on the road and at the airport, plus reports from top consumer advocates.
The Travel Guys, 11 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140.
Join Sactown Sports downtown before every Kings game and pick up an In Shape Fitness Kings Rally towel while supplies last. If you walk, lift, stretch, or sweat, you belong. Start the year strong and join today at InShape.com.
Get as loud as you can for Monster Jam!
The one and only Monster Jam. Packed with stunts, smiles, and jaw-dropping skills. See the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks. Like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Megalodon, and more. Only at Monster Jam. Coming to Golden One Center this Friday through Sunday. Brought to you by BKT Tires. Savings available on select opening night tickets.
Sacramento's Outwork playlist is Mix 96.
I'm in love with the shape of you.
Now with 4 opportunities each weekday to be our $1,000 Employee of the Day. Today's hits and yesterday's favorites. Mix 96.
Guys, feeling low energy or low drive? It could be low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health, start with a free T-check and consultation. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off TRT. Book now at ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply, must medically qualify.
Hagen Oaks knows you can buy a driver off the shelf anywhere, but Hagen Oaks is the only place where you'll find total game fitting. The Hagen Oaks TrackMan-powered player performance studio fits clubs to your swing. Ping's Ballnamic Ball Fitter finds your optimum golf ball. The putter fitting studio makes you a better putter, and FootJoy's 3D foot scanner finds your correct fit. In fact, Hagen Oaks will fit you from head to toe with equipment and apparel to make you the player you want to be. It's total game fitting, and it's only at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway.
Country in the Park is back. May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo. Miranda Lambert, John Party, Chris Young, Turnpike Troubadours, Dylan Scott, and more. Line dancing live DJs, Mechanical Bulls, huge festival area, and food trucks. Tickets start at only $68. Country in the Park, May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo with Hoblit Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram Center, and Fairfield in Cal Expo. More info at CITBfest.com.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
To spend with the Athletics, Diana Russini. If you missed our conversation with her, that'll be up on the Sactown Sports YouTube channel. You can watch and listen to the entire conversation. She's a real treat. Hope we get to have her back on the show again in the near future. But as we transition back to basketball and the NBA, don't worry, Kings fans, we're going to dive headfirst into a Kings conversation. And the Kings are really going to dominate the second half of the show because in our lunch break hour, the 12 o'clock hour, we're going to talk about Keon Ellis and why I feel Keon Ellis's days as a King are extremely numbered. I think it's over. The writing's on the wall with Keon, and he's going to be likely the first one out of here, more than likely. We're also going to talk about Jonathan Kaminga. He played for the Golden State Warriors last night after his general manager had some pretty insane comments about him before the game started. So we'll talk about that. We're going to get into Domantas Sabonis potentially auditioning for the Toronto Raptors tonight and what some potential trade packages from Toronto for Sabonis could look like, as well as any injury reports and things like that. And then I'm really excited to talk to you, Kayla, about what do the Kings do with the veterans that they can't move, right? And the answer is different for all of these, and we'll kind of work together to figure out what's the best route for the Kings going forward. This coming after Doug Christie benched Zack LaVine last night because even though he was shooting the ball well, he wasn't playing defense, so he got benched. Domantas Sabonis barely played in the second half of last night's game. So a lot of good Kings conversation to come, but we're going to have some loosely tied conversation to the Kings here. Talking about former Sacramento Kings head coach Mike Brown. The New York Knicks have lost 9 of their last 11 games. Mm-hmm. Remember, they won the NBA Cup earlier this season.
Correct, which we enjoyed watching.
Yeah, it was great. They have fallen to 7 games back of the Pistons for the number 1 seed. So they're still fine. They're still a playoff team. Like, it's not like, oh, God, they're in the play-in now.
Sure.
They're going to go to the playoffs. But that Knicks job, when Mike Brown took it, he knew as well as everybody else knew, championship or bust, right? You're taking over for Tom Thibodeau on a team that's been on the doorstep of the NBA Finals but not able to get there. That job is win a title or not. Mm-hmm. And there's not a lot about this Knicks team right now that looks like a title team, especially if they're going to have to beat whoever comes out of the West, whether it's the Thunder or the Spurs or the Nuggets or whoever ends up meeting them on that final stage. And apparently, Kayla, Mike Brown's having some issues with buy-in from the players. Okay. This is from Ian Begley. Says, I'm digging around on this. One theme that has come up consistently over the past couple of weeks, this group is not tied together in the way that their early season success would suggest. Players haven't fully bought into their roles under head coach Mike Brown. Those reasons are cited often when you talk to people about the Knicks' flaws. Now, we'll get into another branch of this story in just a second when it comes to what Jalen Brunson had to say. But, Kayla, this has been kind of a consistent theme in the career of Mike Brown. That sometimes, and it happened here in Sacramento, it happened in Los Angeles, happened in Cleveland. Yep. Sometimes he wants to use players the way he feels that he should use players. Players don't always agree with. And as you know, as a head coach in any sport, but especially the NBA, if you don't have the players on your side, that's the step towards things falling apart and not working for you. And organizations will get rid of coaches far quicker than they get rid of players.
It's got to be such a hard thing to manage as a head coach. And I'm not saying, boo-hoo, like, I feel bad for these coaches. Like, only so many jobs are open and you have to do the job. However, it is different, Matt, from a situation like even we were just talking the NFL. Mm-hmm. or even baseball, where I don't think the players, once their trigger is, hit and there is unhappiness within the locker room, that the coach is out the door. That's not at all what happens. It's more so like ownership is the first thing. The NBA is very unique in that way, where the players do kind of decide, hey, if we get together and it's like, this ain't working for us, they can very well find a way for that coach to be out.
Yeah.
And so in this situation with Mike Brown, what's so perplexing to me, Matt, because you know him pretty well. You've covered him. You know him on a personal level. Seems like an all-around great guy who cares about the players, cares about the organizations he goes and, works for, and brings that passion to work every day. But it's almost like when things don't go right because of the Mike Brown personality and because he kind of is unapologetically who he is, it's really easy for then players to kind of turn on him because he is set in his way about how he does things. Am I wrong?
No, you're correct. I think a good word to describe Mike Brown is stubborn. I think Mike is stubborn. And that can be problematic for coaches. Mike, as nice of a guy he is and as great of a personality as he is, Mike also is not afraid to light a fire under somebody's ass if he feels like that's what he needs to do in order to get his point across. So I am, and people who've listened to me before or familiar with me know how big of a believer and fan I am of Mike. And Mike was wonderful to me when he was here. Loved covering Mike here. One of my favorite coach I've ever covered, truth be told, because of just the personality of who he is. Right. Yeah. And how he would teach me things about the game or explain things to me behind closed doors so I really understood at least what he was trying to do. I might not agree with it, but that was who Mike was. But Mike, when things consistently happen, what's the constant? It's Mike Brown.
Yes.
And I think Mike has to look in the mirror a little bit and recognize, hey, if this is happening again at a stop where this is a complete results-oriented stop. I was worried for Mike when he took this job because I knew if he doesn't deliver a championship, he's done.
He's gone.
And I don't think I think this is his last chance as an NBA head coach.
Okay.
At the same time, though, Kayla, this is where I'm going to get in front of my boy a little bit.
Yeah.
At the same time, y'all weren't complaining about how he was using you when you were winning games earlier in the season and you won the NBA Cup and you beat a very, very talented Spurs team and he got you to win the first piece of hardware you could. And I know the NBA Cup is nothing compared to a Larry O'Brien trophy, but y'all didn't have a problem. Now things are starting to go wrong, and we know Karl Anthony Towns has a history of kind of being a diva at times. And
DeMarcus Cousins called them out, I think, on the Run It Back podcast.
Yeah, he did. Oh, actually, I missed that, so I gotta go and check that out.
Just recently, yeah.
Y'all gotta wear this too, and you can't just suddenly start blaming the coach when things go wrong. And that was kind of Jalen Brunson's whole message, because he held a players-only meeting after they lost. They got destroyed on their home floor by the Dallas Mavericks. And he basically said, we can't wait for the coaches to bail us out. We got to take ownership and turn this around. That's great leadership from Jalen Brunson.
It is. And we all kind of know the player in person Brunson is.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think it's one thing to be a coach is completely not doing. I think this is just they're losing. They're on a losing streak. Vibes aren't good in the locker room. Oh, we've been able to kind of pin it on Brown in the past.
Yeah.
We've seen that in the past. I think that's a lazy way to do it. The players have to take accountability too.
Mm-hmm.
And Cat needs to take accountability in sometimes how he is carrying himself and maybe not doing what he needs to do out on the court all the time. So I'm glad they had that meeting. I'm glad Brunson maybe brought some sort of okay, let's take a step back and not maybe pin this all on the coach. I'm not saying that's what everybody's doing in that locker room. Mm-hmm. But why then are we hearing again, oh, okay, Mike Brown,
it's just a cop-out.
It's his problem.
Mike does have to wear the fact that it's happening consistently for sure, but it's just a cop-out at this point for players that things aren't going well, and we're not going to blame ourselves or take accountability for it. We're going to just put it on Mike Brown.
On the coach.
I think it's lazy, and it's common throughout the league. It's not just a Mike Brown problem.
No, it's not.
Although it seems to keep happening to Mike no matter where he goes. Best of luck to Mike Brown. I think the Knicks will be fine. I think they'll turn it around. Will they win an NBA title? I don't know. And that's ultimately what he's going to be judged upon in that. So the pressure is only just mounting and beginning for Mike and the New York Knicks. There's going to be a lot of pressure, too, on Fernando Mendoza because he's taken over the helm as the quarterback and the number 1 overall pick for the Las Vegas Raiders. At least we think he's going to be the obvious pick. He should be. We'll talk about Mendoza leading Indiana to a championship really quickly and him coming into the NFL, what he's bringing to the Raiders. And then we dive headfirst into some big Kings conversations. That's coming up next.
Listen to the number 1 sports lineup in Sacramento.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Matt George, and Kayla Anderson. The Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles.
Every weekday live and local 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Online at SactownSports.com or download the app right on your phone. Your number 1 source for all your Northern California sports. Sacktown Sports 1140.
Get more for your money at Elk Grove Chevrolet, where value meets style. Purchase a new 2026 Chevrolet Trax for just $299 per month plus tax. The Trax delivers more for less with a sleek design, impressive fuel economy, and tech that keeps you connected. Conveniently located in Elk Grove, just minutes from Sacramento. Visit myelkgrovechevrolet.com today for full details and see why the Trax is such a smart choice. Sactown Sports 1140 fans, here's a win you don't want to miss with H&R Block. Join us for a ribbon-cutting grand opening with the Chamber of Commerce at the new H&R Block office in Folsom this Thursday, the 22nd, from 11 till 2 p.m. The first 150 guests score free tacos. Plus, you can enter to win gift baskets from local Folsom shops. And new clients filing at this location receive a special discount. Celebrate, win, and save at the new H&R Block in Folsom. A smart play for tax this year with H&R Block.
Everybody loves the season of giving, but now the season of paying for it is upon us. That not so wonderful time of the year when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, stare in horror at the balance, and resolve then and there to find new ways to save money. If you're among those Americans, why not start by cutting your wireless bill in half right now with Pure Talk's Saver Plan? It's easy. You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super-fast, nationwide 5G network for just $20 a month. Just dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Ho, ho, ho! And if you're active or former military or a first responder, you'll save an additional 20% every single month. That's pound 250. Say Mike Rowe for the gift that keeps on saving from America's wireless company, Pure Talk.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-897-4400. That's 800-897-4400.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Meet Morgan Jones. Morgan is about to step into a world unknown to most thanks to Progressive's Renter's Insurance.
a place of fresh linens and turn-down service. You see, Morgan temporarily vacated her apartment and has gone to a hotel because a pipe burst in her apartment. A pipe that made her sense of reality and apartment ceiling all come crashing down. Luckily, Morgan checked into Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? Sunpoint Public Adjusters can help. Sunpoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call Sunpoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. Sunpoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Tune in every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for the Toyota Tahoe Report with Johnny Mosley and me, Elena, bringing you the latest weather conditions up at Tahoe. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers, Toyota. Let's go places.
10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
A great comment from someone who truly understands what it's like to be a Raiders fan on the YouTube chat line. You can watch this show on YouTube, Sactown Sports 1140 on YouTube. Shout out to everybody who's over there. From, where did it go? Josh707. Being a Raiders fan is tough. Even when we get the number 1 overall pick, still scared and expecting the worst. This can go for the Kings as well. Josh is 100% spot on. We got the number 1 pick. Fernando Mendoza seems like an absolute shoo-in and the right choice for the number 1 pick. But it's the Raiders, and somehow they'll draft Fernando Mendoza, and he'll forget how to pick up a football and what football even is by the time he gets to Las Vegas. It's a real thing. It's scarred Raiders fan syndrome.
I know it is a real thing. I want to be here to bring and offer hope for both organizations.
I won't accept it.
I hope that, this is not a situation for Fernando Mendoza's sake, too.
Yeah.
That the guy doesn't get killed out there playing quarterback.
Yeah.
For
Marcus Russell, Jimmy Garoppolo.
I know. And do you know that
you?
the last number 1 overall pick, first round pick, I should say, first-round pick that the Raiders made in terms of a quarterback was Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, great. Awesome. That made me feel better.
Well, at least they didn't miss out on a great player right after Jamarcus Russell that Lane Kiffin wanted to draft, right?
By the way, he started the whole downfall. Blame Lane Kiffin.
In fairness, things weren't going great for the Raiders before that.
I blame him, Kyle, because I just don't like him.
Yeah, I know. We've learned that. It's is it a Tennessee thing? What is
No, he's always driven me crazy. I don't give a what about Tennessee football, about the Vols, but no, he's just pretentious.
I don't feel any better. This made me worse. This made me feel worse.
Sorry.
Being a Raider fan.
Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah.
You say it 3 times and a fake DVD appears.
Gross. Well, Fernando Mendoza is not Jamarcus Russell.
No.
Do not speak that evil into the universe. And the reality is, if things don't work out for Fernando Mendoza in the NFL, it'll be the Raiders' fault, not his fault.
Yeah.
But, he had a phenomenal season with Indiana. Congratulations to Indiana, of course, for winning the national championship on Monday. He's only the 5th quarterback since 2000 to win the Heisman and championship MVP in the same season. You want to know who he joins?
Jamarcus Russell?
Go away.
Can you mute him?
He controls the buttons. I can't even turn his mic off. He's the guy in control. Matt Leinart. Cam, yeah, that one, yeah. Cam Newton.
Okay.
Jameis Winston. And Joe Burrow. So 2 out of those 4 are pretty darn good.
Pretty darn good.
The other 2 are not great.
Right.
So what that says to me, 50-50 shot that everything's going to be terrible for the Raiders. And 50-50 is like 75-25.
Yeah, and really just in general, quarterbacks, it is so hard to understand what they're going to be at the next level.
Yeah.
And what they're going to be right away, because usually the bets on that are they're not going to be Jaden Daniels because, that just doesn't usually happen, or CJ Stroud. But now look at what's happened to them in year 2 or 3. Like, they're struggling.
Mm-hmm.
So pick your poison, in terms of having a phenomenal rookie season. And then there's a adjustment around the league to how you play. And then all of a sudden, well, what happened to CJ Stroud? What happened to Jaden Daniels? So your best bet for Fernando Mendoza as a Raiders fan is, first of all, let's just hope they fix the offensive line.
Please don't kill him.
First
Don't kill him.
Foremost. I know it's boring to talk about, folks, but the offensive line is the most important part of your team.
Protect our baby boy.
When it
Don't
comes
hurt
to
him.
the quarterback. Yeah. So they've got to get some things right with that. But I honestly just think that getting in the right coach that's going to put him in the best situations for what they have right now. Yeah. They've got like 10 draft picks, so they have some things to work with, but they really got to get it right.
Well, listen, making mock drafts and doing an effective mock draft, one that's not just you just throwing darts at the wall, it's an art form. And we will have great mock drafters and NFL draft analysts on this show as the NFL draft gets closer and closer and closer. But quick message to all of the mock drafters out there that are putting Ruben Bain at number 1 overall. Y'all just like to see the world burn, and y'all just like to see the Raiders suck, and I don't like you. Because don't even speak that evil into existence. Raiders, there's only one thing you can and should do. It's draft Fernando Mendoza, figure it out. Again, if it doesn't work, it's your fault anyway, but at least you pick the guy that everyone said should be the number 1 overall pick. And no disrespect to Ruben Bain. He was phenomenal for Miami this year. He should be a top 3, top 5
Probably
pick.
will be.
He's a pass rushing monster. But the Raiders need a freaking quarterback. They need a centerpiece of that franchise to start this, whether we want to call it a rebuild or just a desperate claw for relevancy led by Tom Brady. Take Fernando Mendoza. Don't think of any other possibility.
You know what he showed me in that championship game?
Who's that?
Where he helped win Indiana their first national
Fernando.
championship on Monday. He showed me something maybe that I didn't get from him as much throughout the season. He's been a dog, no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
Fernando he might fool you when he does the after the game interviews and he's buttoned up and looks like he's on DECA Club or debate team. But Fernando Mendoza is a dog.
He's a gamer.
If you did not watch him in the national championship, go Google some of his clips. Go look him up because he was bloodied.
Yep.
From being hit. By the way, some of those weren't even penalties.
Nope.
Blood coming down his face. He took it in for the touchdown, would not be denied, to really put them in good position to win.
That touchdown run was crazy.
It was insane. He was literally running like he was not going to be denied the touchdown. Those are the qualities, along with the brains, that I want in a quarterback. And I was able, if I was a scout or a general manager of a team or anything, watching that national championship game, I'm like, that guy can be a dude.
One of my favorite parts of the coverage of that game was they had for a decent chunk of the game, they had Mendoza's release time.
Yeah.
And the lower right-hand part of it, and it was like, here's his average release time. Here's how quickly he's getting rid of the football. And I was glued to that the entire time because I'm like, good. You're going to need to get rid of the ball really quickly in Las Vegas because that offensive line will get you killed.
Facts.
And Miami, they weren't headhunting in the sense of they were trying to hurt the dude. But they knew, like, you're the Heisman winner. You're the guy. We're gonna at least strike some fear into you a little bit. You're gonna know that we're coming at you 100%, and you got to get rid of this ball quickly and make split-second right decisions.
Right.
And again, credit to Mendoza for not only making the right decisions for a majority of the time in the pocket, but a run like that touchdown run late in that game to basically just say, I know I'm going to get hit. I'm going to get killed. I'm going to go full extension to get this ball over the line and win this championship for Indiana. Like that takes guts. That takes heart. That's what a superstar does. That's what a franchise guy does, putting his body on the line. I wouldn't recommend him doing that a lot in the NFL, but
it's a good sign that he can do that. And one more thing on that point of quarterbacks and just little things that could separate them once they get to the league. Carson Beck, when things got tough, he looked defeated.
Yeah.
Carson Beck looked like he was completely out of the game. When Mendoza was getting hit, was getting, bloodied in the face, getting sacked from this ferocious defensive line, he never, ever looked like he was defeated. I know that's little and might seem stupid. I've watched a lot of football, a lot of quarterbacks. It's nothing to blink an eye at.
And to add on to that too, something that stood out to me is the only time Mendoza looked sick to his stomach in that game was when he had to watch his defense hold on at the end. He knew, like, I can't go out on the field. I got to trust my defense, but it's not in my hands. It's not in my control, and that makes me sick.
Yep.
And that excites me about a potential not potential. This should be number 1 overall pick for the Las Vegas Raiders. Get it right, Raiders. Tom, don't let us down. When we come back, we're diving headfirst into a Kings conversation. It's our lunch break, so we want you to be involved in this. Get ready, because I know it's going to spark some conversation. Keon Ellis, I think his days as a Sacramento King are over, or at this point, they should be. Plus, more Jonathan Kaminga talk, of course. It's all coming up in the start of the third hour right here at Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to get stronger just around the corner, so you can give everything you've got. Whether you want to crush a few reps before class with our expanded strength equipment or sweat it out on your way home from work. With over 2,800 locations, there's a Planet Fitness close to you, and most are open 24 hours. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends January 30th. Are you coming? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, inviting you to come join them every Wednesday for their midweek madness drawing, giving away $2,000 in total cash starting at 6 p.m. It's a safe and friendly environment, plenty of well-lit parking available, and it's conveniently located right there in downtown Sacramento. And remember, best food, best service, best games, 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER. Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sactown Sports 1140. It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
Oh, you want Kings talk? Well, we got it for you. Buckle up. We're getting deep into the weeds of some topics with the Sacramento Kings that might make you sad, angry, uncomfortable, all of the above.
All the feels.
And it has to do with a player that is very popular here in Sacramento, but I'm not trying to ruin your Wednesday. I'm just saying you should probably emotionally brace yourself for the end of Keon Ellis' time as a Sacramento King.
I really just be chilling for real.
Well, he's going to be chilling for real somewhere else.
I really just be chilling for real.
Keon, it's been a lot of fun to cover his career here and like his the growth and the example that he is. He and like Austin Reeves are probably the best examples of like you are a G League talent, a two-way contract, and you just work and work and work and take advantage of the opportunities when they're given to you, and you turn that into, in Austin Reeves' case, big payday. But for Keon, you turn it into an NBA contract, and a payday is looming for Keon. But I don't think it's going to happen here in Sacramento. Keon Ellis got DNP'd last night. And Kayla, before we dive into why I think his time is gone, or time is done here in Sacramento, I don't know how you feel about it. Me personally, I was neither surprised nor do I really have a problem with him getting DNP'd. With the way Malik Monk has been playing, unless you want to say like Dennis Schroeder shouldn't be playing so Keon can play, that's just not realistic. Like Keon Ellis got a DNP last night, and I was like, yeah, that probably should happen at this point.
It's been a reoccurring theme since the start of the season in terms of what exactly is happening with Keon Ellis. Why isn't Doug giving him more minutes? This is a defensive-minded coach. Keon Ellis obviously has that in his arsenal, but maybe it's not the exact type of defense Doug wants. Or why is now he getting DNP? Like, it's been an ongoing conversation with Keon Ellis. Mm-hmm. And first of all, from everything I've seen, he's handled it like a pro. I don't know if there's been conversations from the start that were told to him, like, hey, you might be somebody that we trade, and so this could be a situation where you're not going to see the floor a lot this season. Mm-hmm. You know, be a good player, and we'll figure out the best place to get you. But it has been something where, like you said, this is nothing new. So I did not even blink at the fact coming back from, what was the injury again?
He had a knee injury, knee soreness. I think he suffered it in one of the games, the Washington game. No, it was a game recently that he banged his knee up a little.
Right. So if we all expected him to just come back and somehow get back in the rotation, I think I might have been more surprised with that than I am the DNP. It's the Keon Ellis saga that at some point probably is going to end.
Yeah, and the reality of this is like we saw Davion Mitchell return last night for the Miami Heat, right? And Davion has had a very, very good season in Miami. You talk about Heat culture. Davion makes perfect sense for why he would find success there. He didn't play that great last night, but he's turned into this starting caliber point guard. He's distributing well. Mm-hmm. He's shooting like 37% from three-point range, right? And Kings fans go, there's another lottery pick that we just let go. Well, Keon Ellis is undrafted and came up through your organization. And Keon Ellis is going to go to a contender or a good basketball team that wants him, and he's going to do good things there. Like, just brace yourself. That's the reality. I'm not trying to everything's bad because it's the Kings and doom and gloom and dark clouds. Like, no. Keon Ellis, there's a reason why he's coveted around the league. Sam Amick, and he's going to be on with Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross tomorrow.
Yeah.
Every single week when they talk to Sam Amick about, like, who you hear and who's rumblings, and Sam's like, it's Keon. Keon's the most desirable. There's teams around the league that are very confused about what the Sacramento Kings are doing with Keon Ellis. And I think that confusion is echoed throughout this city. And Kings fans, I know you feel a certain type of way about Keon. Now's your time to call in and talk about it. 916-339-1140, 800-920-1140. Call in, jump in the text line, jump in the YouTube comment section and talk about Keon Ellis, because truly I think these are the final days of Keon as a Sacramento King. And I don't know, unless it's like either garbage time or, knock on wood, some kind of other injury happening, I don't know if Keon Ellis plays for the Sacramento Kings another minute or another second. I think he's just getting DNPs until we get to the trade deadline at this point.
Is there any way, Matt, that, I know the injury happened and that's kind of weird timing or whatever, but now we're seeing the DNP, and I get it. There's a logjam again because we've got other players that have come back from injury. Malik Monk, like you mentioned, playing well. You also had that report last week that doesn't seem to have as much interest, getting rid of Malik Monk right now. So is there any way that there are maybe some conversations going around about Keon just a couple weeks before the deadline where they're absolutely like, he's going to sit?
I think regardless of how Keon plays or doesn't play at this point, it doesn't change what he is and what his value is, because Keon's value is primarily dictated by his contract.
Yeah.
He's only making, I think, $2.5 or $3 million.
It's really minimal.
So you're not trading. Like, there are teams that could acquire Keon without having to send anything back. That's how little money he makes.
Yep.
So there's two routes that I think the Kings are going to try and go with Keon in terms of trading him. It's either let's try and get maximum value, a late first-round pick for him, and I think that's maximum value, or we're going to use him as a sweetener in a trade to get something across the finish line, which may be what they end up doing, whether it's with a Warriors deal or with a 3-team deal, a multi-team deal. I think that's going to be the best use for Keon Ellis at this point, is use him and his low money as a sweetener on top of a DeMar DeRozan or a Zack LaVine or another veteran to get a team to say yes. That team can then renegotiate a deal with Keon and keep him around long term, or let him walk for some reason. I don't know why they would do that. And then Keon will choose where he wants to sign as an unrestricted free agent this upcoming summer. But to loosely answer your question, I think the Kings feel like, well, Malik has more of a chance to be part of our future at this point. I don't think there is a future for Keon in Sacramento. And this is the tough part, Kayla. And this is the part where Kings fans are going to go, are you kidding me? They're idiots.
Yep.
I don't think there are too many in that Kings organization that want Keon to be a part of the future at this point.
Why? Why Matt George with a guy that, and I get it, we fall in love with these hardworking players that they're the underdog stories, they're the undrafted free agents that kind of capture our hearts. But why is Keon Ellis not a fit for this organization and what they are moving forward? And also with the fact that right now it is Doug Christie as the head coach who does primarily preach defense first.
I think that's the question that the entire league, not just in Sacramento, that's the question the entire league is going, why? Like, why is he not playing? And Doug will speak to the standard. Well, the standard Keon seems to fit perfectly. He'll speak to the log jam at that position. Well, you say you're defensive first, but you're prioritizing guys that don't play as good a defense as Keon Ellis. Is it because he's an undersized guard? Is it because he maybe gambles a little too much defensively and takes risks that you don't want him to necessarily take? I'm going to try not to be super long-winded here with this, Kayla, but take you through the journey of like this Keon Ellis saga.
Exactly.
And it began with Mike. Mike Brown was the one to give Keon his first opportunities. He did so after Keon impressed him playing in garbage time. Keon got opportunities to start when De'Aaron Fox went out. There was a stretch where the Kings were undefeated with Keon Ellis as a starter, and that's where he really started to catch fire. Fans started to really fall in love with him. Then he had the last season where not only was he playing really good defense and being that pest defensively, he was shooting over 40% from three-point range. He was like that ideal 3-and-D guy.
Yep.
Problem with Keon is Keon's 6'2", 6'3".
He's undersized.
If Keon were 6'6", 6'7", he'd be the most coveted one of the most coveted players in the league, and the Kings would be paying him like $25+ million a year.
Yeah.
He'd be what they want Keegan Murray to be, maybe a little bit less than what they want Keegan Murray to be. Mike stops playing Keon, and one of the things he was very transparent with me about is one of the reasons why he wasn't playing Keon as much as he couldn't give Keon as long of a leash as he was giving a De'Aaron Fox or a Domantas Sabonis or some of these other guys, because Keon was an undrafted rookie and just had signed his first NBA contract, and he felt he could not do that. And he pointed to, defensively, Keon would sometimes gamble a little bit too much.
That's like the one thing about his defense, right?
It's like he's a really good on-ball pest,
Sure.
but sometimes he likes to gamble to go for steals. That puts him out of position and forces the defense into rotation, and it would cause more breakdowns than it would help.
Is he like a high risk? We were talking about like Caleb Bones, high risk, high reward.
He is.
Not to that level.
He can
but,
be.
You know.
And people, like, if you average a steal and a half to 2 steals a game, that's really good by NBA standards. But if he's going for 10 of them and only getting 2 of them, the other 8 might not.
Okay.
It might be putting the defense in rotation too much. But we thought, like, Mike Brown got killed for this. When Mike was fired, the number one argument for why Mike deserved to be fired was how he mishandled Keon Ellis. And Doug Christie steps in, and everyone's like, perfect. Finally. Keon, Doug Christie, match made in heaven. Perfect. This has to happen. This makes sense. Everything's going to be great for Keon going forward. And for the most part, for the rest of that season, it was, even though the Kings didn't have a point guard and were starved for a point guard at that time. We get to this summer, and the Kings decide to pick up Keon's option and not negotiate a new deal, which we know pissed Keon off because he's underpaid. He's paid less money than Devin Carter.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Who, by the way, we haven't seen like at
right,
all.
and he doesn't play, period. And so that was the first kind of concerning thing, but okay, maybe Scott Perry wants to use the money to make sure he can go get Dennis Schroeder or use the money elsewhere, and he feels confident, hey, Keon, we're going to negotiate something down the road. We're going to be in constant communication with you. We'll get this done when you're eligible in February after the trade deadline. And then over the course of this year, Keon has been in and out of the lineup, DNPs, for a defensive-minded head coach in Doug Christie. Doug is clearly having the same concerns or same issues with Keon that Mike Brown was having, that Mike got killed for, and now we're just not sure why it's happening with Doug. And I think Scott Perry is doing what we talked about last week, which is, hey, I know this guy's a fan favorite. Same thing with Malik Monk. I know you love these guys' fan base, but I have to sometimes get rid of, I sometimes have to break your heart and ultimately make this team better. I have a pretty good indication that there is a large contingent of this Sacramento Kings organization that does not believe that Keon Ellis can be and should be part of the future of the Kings. I have a pretty good idea that while this organization values Keon and sees the value in Keon Ellis, it's not more valuable than some of the other pieces on this roster and not worth the price tag they feel that they're going to have to pay or bid against another team in order to bring him back. I'm not fully sure why, but I just think the Kings have come to the idea or the belief that the most valuable way to use Keon Ellis at this point is to use him in a trade because he makes so little money to get a trade across the finish line that they're trying to make happen. That's what I think is the case.
It makes sense, Matt. First of all, I want to go back to the comment that you made about Doug Christie, because at some point it sounded like he was kind of the hero coming in, being like, oh yeah, like Keon is the type of guy I like. This would fit. So you kind of mentioned then what has happened this season. Maybe he was exposed to some things that probably was more of the high risk, high reward type of situation that maybe he didn't want to see moving forward with his system. Or is that the realization you're trying to say? Like he came to that, or is it more like this is business? Scott Perry is like, this is not his guy. Scott Perry knows he's a fan favorite probably. There's a couple of those guys in the organization. I think it's important to have those guys. Yeah. But seems like they're probably like 4 right now going on. And that's, because that's the happy stories. Those are the ones that we want to rally behind. But I almost am like, is it just a matter of business? It's a matter of this is not Scott Perry's guy. They want to, sweeten him up in a deal. And maybe they've said it from the start to him. And unfortunately, maybe Doug has realized this isn't the perfect fit. And he has to pretty much go along with what is happening. So maybe it isn't Doug. I don't know. Is it Doug? Is it Scott? Is it both of them? That's what I don't understand.
It has to be both. I think it's a combination of things, because if Doug Christie is not playing a guy that seems like such a Doug Christie guy because his GM is telling him not to, then Doug's a puppet of a head coach, and Scott probably never wanted to hire him. So, and I don't think that's the case. I do believe that Doug Christie and Scott Perry are on the same page. I believe that wholeheartedly. Okay. I don't think that's just lip service. I do believe they're on the same page. Really, as an organization, we have to believe that, because if that's the case, it doesn't matter what they do with Keon, DeMar. If that's the problem now, then nothing's going to change until Doug Christie's fired. And I really, I don't think this city will respond too well to Doug Christie
and
being
I think
fired.
He should be given a chance. I mean, this has been a crazy season as it is with what you're working with.
I think it's just a combination of things. I think Doug Christie's messaging is inconsistent. I don't think that Keon Ellis is as good as the fan base thinks he is in the eyes of the Sacramento Kings. And that might be because the eyes of the Sacramento Kings are bad, because the rest of the league is going, yo, Keon's good, we want him. But maybe Keon gets into those organizations and doesn't do well there, and they realize. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Keon Ellis is going to go somewhere, go for a contender, and he's going to be a really solid rotational piece. Yeah, and we're going to watch the playoffs and go, damn it. I think Kings fans...
Why did we do that again?
But what's crazy, Kayla, is... we have had two separate we have had two separate moments this season where Doug Christie has been asked about former Kings that he worked with when he was here. Neemias Queta and last night with Davion Mitchell.
Correct.
Neemias Queta, he basically straight up said, the Kings never should have gotten rid of him. We never should have gotten rid of him.
Did you pretty much say, in a roundabout way, that's just flat out what he said?
Essentially, we never should have gotten rid of him. And then last night, Sean Cunningham, our friend of the show, asked him about Davion Mitchell before the game.
Sean Cunningham. Who?
There it is.
I don't know.
That guy. He, before the show, or before the game, asked Doug about Davion and, hey, are the Heat using Davion differently? Is he doing something different? And Doug straight up was like, no, that's how he's always been. Just a very, and in his Doug Christie way, just a very pointed comment of whether it was a shot at Monty McNair for getting rid of Davion Mitchell for pennies. By the way, they salary dumped Davion Mitchell so they could sign. I can't remember, and then they got rid of him before the season started. Or it's a shot at Mike Brown for not using Davion Mitchell effectively. Maybe it's a shot at both. But regardless, you have Doug Christie making these not-so-veiled comments about guys that the Kings never should have gotten rid of. And you have Keon Ellis on your roster that screams, here's a guy you probably shouldn't get rid of. But it seems like in the Kings organization, they're seeing something, whether it's with Keon as a person, Keon as a player. Maybe Scott Perry just does not like smaller guards.
Yeah.
But Keon is on the outs in Sacramento, and it's time we all accept it.
Can I give you a real brief instance of that could be a thing? Of like, maybe that is just the way that a GM is thinking, how they want to construct their roster going forward can come down to simply that. I had a former executive for a team come up to me on the sideline at a practice one day and pretty much told me he strongly dislikes small cornerbacks.
Yeah.
Like, does not go for him, will not go for him, period.
They have types.
It's a thing.
Yeah. Scott Perry has a type. I can tell you what Scott Perry's type is. Scott Perry likes, in terms of the guard position, he likes Russell Westbrook's. And to some extent, Dennis Schroeder's, but he likes Russell Westbrook's. He likes bigger guards that are strong, that play hard, and are a bit of a you-know-what. And not that they're like that in the locker room necessarily, and Doug Christie kind of echoes that. Doug Christie wants to have a team of villains. Doug Christie wants to be mean. Like, he wants to have a team that's a little bit mean, that plays with a chip on his shoulder. Doug's all about, like, you could be my friend. As soon as we're on the basketball court together, I want to beat you up. I want to kill you.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, we'll be friends, and if you can't handle that, then you're not my friend anyway.
Right.
Like, that's what Doug Christie's all about, and I think that's where he and Scott Perry are on the same page. That's why Russell Westbrook's here. That's why they like Dennis Schroeder so much. That's why they're all about the recent chip on DeMar DeRozan's shoulder when he's playing. That's why they maybe don't mess with this nonchalant attitude of Zack LaVine.
Really good point.
So maybe it simply does come down to type. But I tell you what, whatever trade that they include Keon in, whether it's they just get a straight first rounder for him or they include him as a sweetener, which I think is the best use of Keon at this point. Because I don't think Keon, you're doing a terrible job, and you've done a terrible job this entire season as an organization to convince Keon to stick around. Hey, bud. Hey, we moved on from DeMar DeRozan. Now we'll pay you your money. If I'm Keon, I'm going, F you, man. I don't like where any of this is going, and I know you don't value me, and Malik Monk is still here. So when am I going to play? No, I'm going to go test my time as a free agent. Like, I think the Kings know if they don't want to lose him for nothing, they have to trade him right now.
Yeah.
And maybe they can get a late first rounder, maybe. But I think it's realistic to say, okay, to get a team to take on DeMar DeRozan or to get a team to take on Malik Monk or Dennis Schroeder, we will add this young, very cheap right now player that can help you win basketball games immediately, that you immediately can go to the table to, sign to a long-term deal, and that's the guy you're more excited about than the veteran we gave you for a short-term rental. Yeah. Like, that's the route for the Kings.
Yeah, and I think that they've kind of always known this year, that he was probably going to be that sweetener. And again, you just mentioned Sam Amick has said this. There's been other NFL insiders or NBA insiders that have mentioned there was a lot of interest around the league for Keon.
Yeah.
But they're not going to, Scott Perry's also just not going to give him away.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that he is, like you said, I think he's waiting for that one piece and then connect Keon to it. And that's kind of what the move is.
Part of me is terrified that the Kings aren't going to make any real substantial moves at the trade deadline. But also, I can say that while also saying I will be stunned if Keon Ellis is still a Sacramento King after the deadline. I will be stunned. And if he still is, it's a bad thing for the Kings because they're probably going to lose him for nothing. Like, I would be even more stunned if they got him to sign an extension at this point.
Is that almost like priority one?
What are you, getting rid of Keon,
Yeah.
you mean?
Because there's obviously bigger pieces, but
priority one is getting rid of one of your veterans. And I
but
think
it's so much harder.
It is. But that's where it's like, okay, Keon can be that ace in the hole to help get it across the finish line. I think that's what Keon's value is. And if they're not able to do that, I mean, regardless, once Perry trades Keon, his feet are going to be held to the fire for that a little bit, and we're going to be paying very close attention to both how he does and what you got back for him and what you do with that. If you get a first-round pick for him, you better turn that first-round pick into a solid rotational piece late in that first round. Or if it's someone that you took a flyer on someone that doesn't work out, you're going to get killed for that, and rightfully so. And that's the problem when you trade fan favorites, even if it needs to happen. If you trade a fan favorite, you have to prove to the organization that was the right move to make. Or, sorry, the fan base, that was the right move to make. And Perry's going to have a lot of proving to do with however things play out with Keon. Now, if we see Keon get traded and then he goes to the Boston Celtics and immediately he starts playing, but then suddenly he falls out of the rotation because it didn't work out for them, maybe we go, okay, Perry was on to something. To it. But only time will tell with that. This is our lunch break segment. I know y'all want to jump in here and talk about this Keon Ellis situation, just like Pool Guy Mark calling in, I think, for the first time in this show's history. Pool Guy Mark, what's up, my friend?
Hey, what's going on? It's kind of a confusing situation. I mean, the Kings don't have many young assets, and to me it seems like, well, if the league is telling you, if the league is wanting this guy, I mean, it seems like an asset that you would want to hang on to. I don't understand why they have the two older guards. I mean, none of them are part of the future.
Yep.
And if you haven't seen this guy play all year, and you're not letting him play, then how do you know what you have? Same with Carter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mind confusing because it's like these are modern guards. They're not that small. I mean, he's basically 6'4". I mean, they have him listed at 6'6", but he's 6'4", right? And Carter's 6'3" with 6'9" wingspan. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a place for these guys, and I don't understand what the Kings are doing. I mean, they're not growing their young assets other than the bigs that they're letting play because of Sabonis is hurt. I mean, it's just a very confusing organization. I guess that's the problem. I mean, none of the every once in a while they'll do something that makes sense, and then they'll come back the next day and do something. You're like, well, what are you doing? So I guess for me, I just want this organization to choose a direction, to do something that kind of makes sense for the future. Play guys that they say that they want to build the team around. I don't know. I'm just waiting for something to happen. I'd be sad if they let this guy go. I mean, it seems like it'd be someone I would like to see grow and see what you have.
Mark, thank you so much for the call. I'm going to disagree with one thing that Mark said. He said the Kings aren't prioritizing or developing their young assets. They are. But they're the ones that Scott Perry chose.
Yep.
It's Dylan Cardwell,
Yep.
it's Maxime Reynaud, and it's Nick Clifford.
Yes.
The guys that the general manager is directly responsible for are getting the opportunities. He inherited Keon. And again, I don't think Keon fits Scott Perry's type. Same thing with Malik Monk. I don't think Scott Perry values smaller guards.
Yeah.
So
that's sometimes as much as we always want to get the real details out of it, sometimes it comes down to just a basic, like you said, that is not that type for Scott Perry. It just come down to that.
I think it's a combination of at this point, it's not his type, and Keon's best value is as a trade sweetener. I think that's just the simple way to sum it up. KD wants to jump in on this conversation before we go to break. KD, you have thoughts on Keon, I imagine.
Yeah, real quick. I just want to say I think you got a great point. I think the kid, I've coached before. I watch a lot. Big Kings fan. The kid does gamble with his defense, and he could really develop into a good player, but the problem is that as fans, we need to understand, I think we gave Monty McNair too much credit, and this roster is messy.
Yeah.
And there's some things, and the time that needs to be put in to change this. You look at the good teams, OKC, it takes time to do that.
Yep.
And I think fans just need to be patient and just allow him to go through the process, because I'm not a big fan of Monty McNair at all and the decision-making. I understand some of it came from Vivek, but they've just messed things up for some time. So I would just encourage fans, just be patient, because I think this guy knows what he's doing. He's just playing chess, not checkers.
Great call, KD. Dwayne is also on the line. Dwayne will get you when we come back, but also when we come back too. Like while KD was sharing his thought with that, I came up with the thought like this is the best case scenario for Scott Perry in this entire saga, and this is what I think he's going to do. I'll tell you why he's doing what he's doing. I'll tell you what that is. We'll get the call from Dwayne. If you want to jump in on this Keon Ellis conversation, you can. Plus, we still have to talk about Jonathan Kaminga. So much still to get to here on Matt and Kayla, Sactown Sports.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Two new voices join the midday. Matt George and Kayla Anderson.
Weekdays 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Watch online at Sactownsports.com, on the app, or in your car.
Listen to the latest on the Sacramento Kings, the San Francisco 49ers, and all breaking news.
Northern California is covered.
10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The best in the middays during your weekdays are on your local sports leader. Sactown Sports, 1140.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, SECURE to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
Guys, your New Year goals start now. Get limited time savings on our most popular treatments at Revive Men's Health. Visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com to see if you qualify to save hundreds.
The other guys must think you failed math. Get this huge discount. Then the fine print hits you with $5,200 in mandatory ads. It's adorable in a scammy kind of way. At Hoblet, we skip the tricks. The price you see is the price you actually pay. What a wild concept, huh? Hoblet, family owned 77 years. Experience the difference online at hobletdodge.com.
Sometimes you need country music. Next time you have that feeling, check out New Country 105.1 KNCI, where you have 4 opportunities each weekday to win $1,000 and double your paycheck. New Country for Sacramento, 105.1 KNCI.
Get as loud as you can for Monster Jam!
The one and only Monster Jam. Packed with stunts, smiles, and jaw-dropping skills. See the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks, like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Megalodon, and more, only at Monster Jam. Coming to Golden One Center this Friday through Sunday. Brought to you by BKT Tires. Savings available on select opening night tickets.
Country in the Park is back. May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo. Miranda Lambert. John Party. Chris Young. Turnpike Troubadours. Dylan Scott and more. Line dancing, live DJs, mechanical bulls, huge festival area, and food trucks. Tickets start at only $68. Country in the Park. May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo with Hoblet Chrysler, Dodge Jeep and Ram Center, and Fairfield in Cal Expo. More info at CITPFest.com.
Celebrate the new year in style with a new Honda from Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. With new Hondas in stock and ready to go, now is the time to save on your favorite Honda in person or online. CR-V, HR-V, Pilot, Accord, Civic, and Ridgeline. It's a new year with endless possibilities. Get the deals that make it easy to say yes. Upgrade and save today at Stockton Honda.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Sactown Sports 1140 fans, here's a win you don't want to miss with H&R Block. Join us for a ribbon-cutting grand opening with the Chamber of Commerce at the new H&R Block office in Folsom this Thursday, the 22nd, from 11 till 2 p.m. The first 150 guests score free tacos. Plus, you can enter to win gift baskets from local Folsom shops. And new clients filing at this location receive a special discount. Celebrate, win, and save at the new H&R Block in Folsom. A smart play for tax this year with H&R Block.
Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
Continuing our conversation about Keon Ellis here on Sactown Sports, Matt George, Kayla Anderson, taking you from 10 a.m. all the way to 2 p.m., where we will pass it over to the Drive Guys, Whitey Gleason and Alan Stiles in here. I bet they'll have some thoughts on this Keon Ellis conversation. But for those of you who are just now tuning in and you missed the fireworks, basically, I'll sum it up to you like this. In my mind, I could be wrong, but in my mind, Keon Ellis' time as a Sacramento King is coming to an end. In my mind, Keon Ellis will be gone, will be dealt by the trade deadline, or at least the Kings are hoping that will be the case. I think if Keon Ellis is still a Sacramento King after the trade deadline, something went wrong for the Kings. They weren't able to close the deals that they were trying to close. And even if they should negotiate with Keon, I don't know if those negotiations would go anywhere, because I'm pretty sure at this point too, Keon Ellis would... I'm not speaking for Keon. I haven't spoken with him about this directly. I'm just based off of how this season has gone for him and the direction the Kings are heading in and how he continues to get DNPs and then sometimes he'll play and then DNP'd again and whatever. If I'm Keon Ellis, I'm getting the heck out of here. And I don't think he's wrong to feel that way at all.
So going back real quick to that conversation we had with our pool guy. Was it Mark?
Yeah, Mark the pool guy.
I'm interested.
Pool guy Mark.
Is he working on pools at this time of the year? Because it's cold.
He's pool cleaner, essentially.
Wow. Okay.
He's got time during the winter.
He's got a little
Actually,
time.
That's not true. Leaves fall in the pool a lot during the winter.
They do.
Winter's when you're supposed to clean them out, by the way.
That's true.
See?
You're supposed to drain the
I'm
pool.
learning something here.
I need a pool.
I'm learning something new every time I come on the show with Kyle.
But pool guy Mark will call all the time because he's out on the site.
Yeah, because I've never heard from him, so I'm glad he called into our show on lunch break.
Oh, pool guy Mark. You know what? I'm going to say this right now. Pool guy Mark is my favorite caller.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Kyle Ledbetter hates you if you're not pool guy Mark. He
Sorry,
will not answer
Dwayne,
the
who's
phone.
on the line.
Dwayne. You hear that, Dwayne? We'll get to you, Dwayne, in just a second.
I love pool guy Mark.
So we need more pool guy Mark, and he had made a point about he likes Keon Ellis. Clearly, he likes Keon Ellis here in Sacramento. But he also mentioned, I'm just waiting for a move, and we just need something to happen to get the ball rolling. And that's where you kind of have to come to, as a fan, the realization that if we want to get something going here, it's probably going to be Keon.
You and I are the exact same wavelength, because at this point, I believe you cannot have one without the other. As much as Kings fans have been calling for Keon to play more and don't trade him, and why would you get rid of him? At the same time, we're also get rid of this guy, get rid of DeMar, get rid of Zach, get rid of Domas, get rid of any combination of them. And I think the Kings feel at this point, after all the calls that Scott Perry has been making for months, just because a deal hasn't been done doesn't mean that he has not been working the phones since the season started, since he took the job. I think the Kings believe that their best chance of making the trades that they need to make to get this rebuild going. Because how many times have we already said in the short life of this show, if the Kings don't start this rebuild at least a little bit by the end of this trade deadline, then there should be pitchforks and frustration in the streets.
And you're setting yourself back.
Right. I think you need to use Keon and trade Keon in order to take that first step.
You do.
And that might be the reality that Kings fans don't want to have to accept, but it might be what needs to happen. That might be me getting too far out in front of Scott Perry a little bit too, and I'm applying a hypothetical circumstance to something that I don't know definitively, and we don't really know definitively about anything during about this situation. All we know is what we've seen. And what we've seen is a guy who, on paper, should make perfect sense for your coach and your direction, not getting any sort of playing time consistently, and not being talked about or treated like they're part of the future whatsoever. And we're supposed to believe, while also hearing around the league that everybody else really covets him.
Yeah, the teams are like, ooh, we kind of like that.
We're supposed to believe that the Kings are all of a sudden going to get past the trade deadline. I go, okay, now Keon, you're part of our future. We love you, bud. I don't buy that. I don't buy that one bit.
I'll give you one thing real quick. This is not to the level of Jonathan Kaminga, which we'll talk about JK in a little bit here.
Oh, yeah.
But I will say while we're speculating and while we have people that call in that are fans and listeners of the station that don't want to see Keon go, I will say they have done a pretty good job as an organization of not getting, if there is garbage that comes along with it, if there is stuff that comes along with it, it's not necessarily getting out there from the player.
Yeah, there's not leaks, which is good.
Right.
So and trust me, Kayla, there was a time where the Kings organization was leaking like the Hoover Dam, and it was we all knew everything that was going on in there sometimes before people in the organization knew what was going on there. Dwayne waited so patiently on hold during the commercial break. Dwayne, what's going on, my friend? How does it feel not being Kyle Ledbetter's favorite caller?
Yeah, that's a new one on Dwayne. But hey, Dwayne. Everybody's allowed to have their opinion, man. You know.
Dwayne, you're top 5.
What? Hey, man.
In the top 5.
Hey, brother, you're going the wrong direction, brother. What's up with the homies, Tom?
It's good to talk to you, Dwayne. You want to weigh in on this Keon Ellis conversation?
Yeah, you know, I've been on top of this with Kyle and Alan Styles for a while, man, so I have no patience left. I need a trade. Even if it's just like a beginning type thing to start the whole thing, you know what I mean? What Scott Perry has to understand is he got the short stack.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He don't have no leverage right now. Now, he's normally a guy who wins in a trade. He don't, you know what I'm saying? He don't get took. But this one, in order to get this started, we're looking at positional needs. You know what I'm saying? We're looking at balancing that roster. So as long as he does anything to do that, that's a good start. So I'm concerned that we just haven't seen any motion because we actually have multiple trades we need to make, and we haven't done any. Now, another thing I think is going wrong is that it's going to be really hard to trade guys that you keep DMPing.
Yeah.
One night you start him, the other night he doesn't play at all. You can't DMP guys that you're trying to trade. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't know, man. I'm not a Scott Perry fan.
Dwayne, real quick, you're obviously like you want a trade to happen by any means necessary. We need to get this ball rolling, and it's hard to disagree. I think a lot of the fan base feels the exact same way. If I were to tell you, if I'm Scott Perry and I'm telling you, the way I make that happen is I have to include Keon Ellis. Do you accept that, or do you have a problem with that?
No, I'm accepting it, man.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think we're going to get much for Keon. We just have to get it started, but we have to do something for the fan base to let us know that you're in the right direction, because right now there's no direction. And so, like I said, any trade will work for me, even if the other team gets over, because our main thing is positional needs and roster construction.
Dwayne, my man, thanks for the great call. Really appreciate his point. Yeah, the one thing I say about the DNP stuff is, I guess, a benefit, of having a roster with so many guys that have been around the block in the league is that people know who they are. Like, is DeMar DeRozan really going to do a lot, or Keon LaVine or is Domantas going to do a lot that suddenly makes the GM go, wow, okay, fine, I'll give up what I need to get for him. Like, maybe certain niche aspects of their game, like we've talked about with DeMar, it's, okay, he's showing he can be an efficient scorer without needing the ball in his hands as much as he used to in his career. Maybe that says something to a contender. In the case of Keon, he's not as established as any of those guys, of course. But I think it's been pretty clear from what Sam Amick has said, the entire league has a pretty good idea of what they believe Keon is. And and they're confused by why the Kings aren't playing him, but it's not changing their mind on anything. So I don't think the Kings DNPing Keon is stopping a Boston or whoever from going, yeah, we want him, and we'll do what we need to do realistically to get him.
And really think about it. If that is the word around the league, that they do have interest in Keon and what he could bring to the team, DMP might be the best option.
Yeah, don't get him hurt.
If you, put him out there and get him hurt, or expose him as not as valuable as he might be because of some of the things we've talked about with the risk-reward defense, it might be the best option to just say, and that's what he's been kind of sitting all year.
Yeah. Keon or Perry has a very specific, unique opportunity to where his decision to not extend Keon and to pick up his option and make him a $2.5-3 million per year player can be exactly what the Kings need. And that situation is using him as a sweetener. I know I keep coming back to that, but that's just what makes the most sense.
Yeah.
He's not paid a lot, but he's valued around the league. That is the perfect type of guy to add on top of a contract that a team is hesitant to take on to get that across the finish line. That is Keon Ellis' value to this organization. That is what I believe Scott Perry is trying to do more than anything else. He ultimately has to get it across the finish line, which is why I say if Keon Ellis is still a King after the trade deadline, he was not able to get that done. And if he's not able to make any move happen because of that, then Perry's going to start to feel a little bit of heat. And I don't want that to happen because God knows we need Scott Perry to be good and finally be the general manager to turn this organization around. So we will see. We have Tay and Louie on the line. You guys want to jump into this conversation? I promise you we will do that. I needed to hold on.
Got a long lunch break, baby.
I know, long lunch break, but I tell you, people want to jump in on this Keon Ellis conversation. We still have to talk about Kaminga, too. Thank God we have another hour and 15 minutes of this show remaining. You're listening to Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Amy Cox did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. And with that money, she decided to treat herself to an anti-aging red light mask. Will she look like a horror movie villain every night? Yes. Will her boyfriend Kevin be scarred for life? That's certainly a risk. But it's Amy's savings, and if she's willing to risk her relationship for smooth, wrinkle-free skin, well, bye-bye, Kevin. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. JD Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store and online. And now, the more you buy, the more you save on beds, bases, and more. Limited time. For JD Power 2025 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
At InShape, there's a place for every kind of mover. The Sometime, the early riser, after-work grinder, the yogi, lifter, walker, runner, sauna seeker, recoverer. If you walk, lift, stretch, or sweat, you belong. Start the year strong and join today at InShape.com.
Now stretched over the course of nearly an entire hour, and Tay wants to add in, but wants to talk about Doug Christie. Tay, welcome into the show.
Hey, Matt and Kayla, thanks for taking my call.
Pleasure,
You're
Tay.
welcome.
Good to talk to you.
Yeah, first of all, I love you guys because you guys provide great content in the middle of the day.
Oh, thanks, Tay.
Yeah. So I think one thing that I want to get you guys' opinion, obviously it's important that Harry makes the moves, for our future before the trade deadline. But I think it's also paramount that he makes the right move at the end of the season and let Doug Christie go and get a new NBA legit head coach. I could not believe the way that Doug coached last night. The Heat are not a very good team. They had a pretty rough road trip, and the way they shot the ball from last night, I could not believe what I was seeing. And at the post game, Doug said that he didn't play Zack LaVine because he wanted to go for defense. I mean, he didn't play Zack LaVine much in the second half because he wanted to, play the guys that play defense. But obviously, there was no sign of Keon Ellis or Devin Carter. So I'm also getting tired of Doug in the post game saying, the guys that we play, they embrace the 6 pillars of Sacramento standard basketball.
Yeah.
What the hell is that? Give us the X's and O's. I am just tired of watching Christie not making adjustments, making no sense in post game. He needs to go.
Tay, thank you so much for the call. I hear his passion and I hear the frustration with what we talked about earlier, the inconsistent messaging.
Sure.
I don't think Doug Christie's going anywhere for this season. And
Remind me of the contract again.
Yeah, so his contract is a prove-it contract. He's in year 1 of a 3-year deal.
That's right.
This year and next year make him, I believe, the lowest paid head coach in the league.
It's either him or Charles Lee in Charlotte.
Okay.
It's low.
Or a coach that's about to get hired.
Yeah, it's low. The third year is significantly higher salary, but it's a team option. Okay. So essentially, Scott Perry has a clean break after 2 years that, hey, it's not working out, and we're going to move on. We're going to move in another direction. I don't think, and it's been made pretty clear from reporting, Doug's not going anywhere this season. I don't think he should. Firing another head coach in the middle of the season would just be bad.
Mm-hmm.
But to Tay's point, I think that conversation will get louder during the summertime. And Kayla, I'm curious your thoughts on this. The difference between like a firing of Mike Brown, which I, of course, melted down about. The city didn't. I did. Or a Doug Christie is, Doug's one of us. Doug's one of the city.
Absolutely.
And I don't think, even if it needs to happen, it's another thing where if Scott Perry feels like he has to break hearts in order to make the right thing happen, that might be another heart that he has to break.
It is really tough right now because before things get easier, they're going to get harder. And I know that is not a great phrase that people like to hear, but them's is the breaks. That's the realistic part of what the Sacramento Kings are in the middle of right now. Yes, they're in the middle of a season. They're also in the middle of trying to figure out their future.
Yeah.
And that is why we discuss so many different things on this station when it comes to, trades or possible trades or what do they do with this player because they might not be a future player on this team. And then what about Doug Christie? Mm-hmm. And right now, I don't think we're focusing as much on what his future is because we're still trying to figure out what pieces are trying to get moved out of here.
Yeah.
But you're right. There is going to be a time, especially if you get some of these pieces moved out and you have some of these younger players playing in the second half of the season, later in the second half of the season, and you don't see any improvement. At a positive, let me put a positive out there real quick.
Yeah.
We have seen some development of players.
Absolutely.
We have seen some development of some of the big men.
Absolutely.
On this team, the younger guys that you have to give Christie some credit in that aspect.
100%. And Doug's doing things that aren't easy to do necessarily when it comes to whether you agree with the benching of Zack LaVine or not, and you have a problem with the inconsistency of the messaging, and Tay's not alone in that.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty brave of any first-year head coach to have Zack LaVine sit so that Dylan Cardwell and Nick Clifford can get run. And, he lost the game. As we've talked about, losing is better for the Kings than winning. But I promise you, Doug Christie is not making moves to tank. Doug Christie hates tanking. I know that because I worked with him every day at this station for years. And I know his reaction to tanking. So I don't believe for a second Doug Christie's intentionally trying to lose games. I think Doug is doing what he needs to do or feels he needs to do with the backing of the front office of who's going to be part of this future and who's not. Here's where I'm at with Doug. I have been consistent with my feelings since Mike Brown was fired that you cannot hold a coach responsible for the absolute dumpster fire roster construction of this team. It is the island of misfit toys, a bunch of talent that has no cohesion.
Sorry, I just pictured that.
Yeah, right? No, however you want to describe it, the roster construction has been flawed from the beginning. Perry is not responsible for that. He's done some things to make it better, other things to make it worse in the minor moves that he made last summer. But we also knew that Perry was going to need time to fix this mess. I don't know if Doug Christie was forced upon Scott Perry or not. I don't blame any Sacramento Kings fan who's skeptical about that because of the over-involvement of Vivek Ranadive and ownership in the past. But Perry proudly and confidently owned that decision, so we have to take him for it at his word. I don't think Doug Christie should lose his job this summer until the Kings put a more or somewhat more cohesive roster together that actually fits the vision of the Kings and Perry and Doug going forward. If then we get into next season and there are still inconsistencies with playing time and guys that should be playing who fit aren't playing, now we need to talk about, Doug, what the hell are you doing? I'm not there yet.
And the same questions of and this hopefully won't be a thing, the log jams, and why aren't these many, that's got to stop at some point.
Yeah.
But it's not going to stop until some of these rocks are moved from the hard place.
Right. You have to get rid of some of these pieces that obviously don't fit. We all know they don't fit, and it doesn't matter what Doug says at the podium or Perry says publicly or privately or what the players say in the locker room about how much they want to be here or being professional. None of it matters. All of our eyes are telling us the same thing. This group doesn't fit. They never fit. They haven't fit. They're not going to fit. So get rid of the bad fits and plug those gaps, fill those holes in with players that fit more your style going forward. It's why we talked so much about the Portland Trail Blazers yesterday. The Blazers aren't the model of how to do it correctly, but the Blazers are a team. It's a roster of guys that make sense together.
They're on the same page.
Play the same way that the organization wants them to play and knows their roles. Start there. And if Doug still can't do anything with them, now we can start talking about, hey, Doug's not the right coach for this team.
Exactly.
But I don't think Doug has been given a full fair shake because Scott Perry hasn't had enough time to clean up this mess that Monty McNair and really Vivek Ranadive made.
I think that's the perfect way to put it. And it is always your thoughts and opinions are more than welcome when it comes to what you think about a coach and what you have the right.
Yeah.
Because you've been through a lot as an organization as fans. But yeah, I would be on your page right now just to be patient. I know you probably hate that word, those that kind of want things happening now, but be patient, let things kind of play out so that at least we can see when he gets some of those tools to work with, if they work well with him.
The draft is going to be key, and it's always going to be key, how the Kings handle the draft going forward. And I'm going to use that to really quickly segue to the San Francisco 49ers really quick, because I don't know if we're going to be able to get this in any later in the show. The draft is important for the Kings to go out and find their next star, their next foundational piece to build around. That's what the Kings are looking for. The San Francisco 49ers are looking to simply retool because the expectation for Kyle Shanahan and company is that the Niners will be just as relevant next season as this season, but hopefully they will be healthy. And Kayla, they've got a first-round pick, a second-round pick, a third-round pick, 3 fourth-round picks, 2 of them comp, and a fifth-round pick, also comp. There is a lot of opportunity in the early rounds, whether they want to prioritize the receiver position, they want to prioritize the offensive line, some depth defensively in case of injuries, whatever they want to do. I think we're going to be very locked into what the Niners do on draft night and how they can fill out those gaps. And Shanahan will hopefully find that group of impact players that maybe aren't the biggest names on the planet, but the guys that are going to be able to be the difference to hopefully get the Niners across the finish line next year.
I asked this question yesterday to Sean Cunningham, KCRA's Sean Cunningham. And
here's Sean Cunningham.
There he is.
I don't know.
About the running back position. And a lot of times, we think Niners, they don't need anything, that, CMC's there, whatever. Today, I thought it was interesting that Christian McCaffrey told reporters that he'd be interested to adding a running back in the mix. And honestly, I think at this point, with all those draft picks, you don't go 1 round, you don't go 2. You go find even what you think could be somebody you could try to develop a little bit more into what you want as Kyle Shanahan in terms of that system, you go get a running back.
Yeah.
And you have that somewhere in that round 4. Because my whole point on that is, you'll get your round 1, round 2 guys. Those picks, round 4, there's some real gems that come around that time of the draft. And what I love about the Niners is you can really always rely on John Lynch to kind of know exactly what they're doing. And that's where I'm comfortable with them getting some pieces they really need, even in the middle of the draft, that 4-3 spot.
It's crazy to say with how plagued the Niners were by injuries this season that they were lucky that Christian McCaffrey didn't get hurt.
I can't believe it.
With the amount of workload that was on him, and that's not sustainable. Christian knows that's not sustainable.
No.
So if Christian is going to Lynch and Shanahan and going, hey, I'd like to not have the ball in my hands 1,000 times a game because that's gonna end badly at some point, I don't blame him at all for that. I'm very interested to see, like you said, that 3rd and 4th round range, what they can do potentially to bring Christian some help, whether it's on the offensive line or just another running back to take some of that workload off of his shoulders. But we're getting right back to Sacramento Kings talk to start the 4th and final hour of the show. Domantas Sabonis, is he auditioning for the Toronto Raptors tonight? Potentially, we will. No? You're shaking your head, Kyle? Why are you shaking your head at me?
Well, we got breaking news during the segment. He is out tonight.
Oh, darn it.
Oh, my goodness.
Well,
it is knee injury management.
Audition over. Domantas Sabonis isn't playing, but maybe the Raptors still want him. We'll talk about some hypothetical trades. Plus, we're going to dive into what do the Kings do with different veterans if they're not able to move them. Thanks, Sabonis. You ruined the audition. Dang it.
Goodness.
We'll collect ourselves after the break.
Listen to the #1 sports lineup in Sacramento.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Matt George, and Kayla Anderson. The Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles.
Every weekday live and local 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Online at SactownSports.com or download the app right on your phone. Your #1 source for all your Northern California sports. Sactown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Sactown Sports 1140 fans, here's a win you don't want to miss with H&R Block. Join us for a ribbon-cutting grand opening with the Chamber of Commerce at the new H&R Block office in Folsom this Thursday, the 22nd, from 11 till 2 p.m. The first 150 guests score free tacos. Plus, you can enter to win gift baskets from local Folsom shops. And new clients filing at this location receive a special discount. Celebrate, win, and save at the new H&R Block in Folsom. A smart play for tax this year with H&R Block.
Injured and you're considering an LA law firm looking to charge you 45% to 50% in attorney's fees? That's overcharging. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years, and I can tell you no matter how complicated your injury case, you should never be charged 45% or 50% in attorney's fees ever. Direct, experienced, unrelenting, and honest local representation matters. It's called Home Court Advantage for a reason. Ashton & Price serious local attorneys for serious people with serious injuries. So for the best local advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Sacramento's Outwork playlist is Mix 96.
I'm in love with the shape of you.
Now with 4 opportunities each weekday to be our $1,000 Employee of the Day. Today's hits and yesterday's favorites, Mix 96.
You ever notice how the other guys scream about massive discounts on their Dodge, Chrysler, or Jeep Ram vehicles? Then you get to the fine print and boom, another $5,200 in mandatory ads. At Hoblet, we don't insult your intelligence. The price you see is the price you pay. No mystery add-ons, no bait and switch, no gotcha when you sit down to buy. Hoblet, family owned for 77 years. Transparency, straightforward pricing. Buy it right, buy it at Hoblet.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140. It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
Well, as they say in the theater, the show must go on. And, well, Domantas Sabonis blew the audition segment of this show. Thanks, Domas. Jeez, what, you hurt your knee or something with your partially torn meniscus? Grow up, huh? If I hurt my knee, I'd be done for 3 years. If I get out of bed and my neck hurts, I'm not playing basketball until I'm right as rain. But I still think Domantas Sabonis should be playing. No, I'm just kidding.
It's very poetic there.
I also love that they can't call it load management anymore, so they have to say right knee injury management.
So what was the whole thing with them not calling it load management? Just because of the whole
Well, it became a thing
controversy?
because they were intentionally load managing stars to not play in national TV games, which was affecting revenue, and the NBA said you can't do that anymore. You get
Don't say that.
fined and just
Don't say that.
Don't say that. The forbidden words.
Load management's the dirty word.
It's the Voldemort of like injury reports is load management. But all right, Domantas Sabonis isn't playing tonight against the Toronto Raptors. Going back to what we were talking about in the last hour, though, like how much were the Raptors really going to learn about Sabonis from this game?
Yeah.
Maybe they'd learn, he's healthy, he's fine. Okay, we can trade for him. Well, load managing him against the team that might want to trade for him might not be the best to tell him that he's healthy and good to go. But I don't know. I didn't think as much fun as it is to say, like, is he auditioning tonight? I wouldn't expect Domas to do a lot that the Raptors don't already know to like influence, we got to go and get him.
It's the same thing we've been talking about, whether it be Keon Ellis or whether it be some of these vets. You don't have to necessarily play them right now to prove something. Because especially with the guy like Domas, he is kind of unique in that position. And we spoke about this yesterday of, how offenses are kind of built through him. And that's not really what's happening right now.
Right.
In Sacramento, because they're moving away from that.
Yep.
But that other teams are aware of this, right? So other teams are probably like, yeah, we're interested because we could see that working, or no, we're not interested. It's not going to change anyone's mind if Toronto is playing here tonight and Domas is or isn't out on the court. Yeah, is it like out of sight, out of mind, or in sight, in mind, whatever you want to say? Sure, that might be part of it, but it's not going to be a change. I don't think they're going to do anything with Domas right now.
And we first got wind of these rumors that the Raptors were interested in Domas last week, but there was like there was a contingency to it. And it's that the Toronto Raptors wanted to move on from multiple contracts that have not super significant money compared to Domas, but a significant amount of time on them. And from what we understand about what Scott Perry's trying to acquire, it's not long contracts, and they're trying to get draft picks, not send draft picks out. They're trying to get younger, not get any older. So as much as the Raptors might be a suitor for Sabonis and could potentially take Sabonis, it sounds like they're also wanting to do that on their terms, very similar to the Kings. Like, yeah, we'll take John Morant if it's this. I don't blame the Raptors for that necessarily, but the Raptors don't really make sense for a landing destination for Domas because of what they're making available in a Domas trade. That is the exact opposite of what we believe Perry is trying to bring in.
Yeah, and I think right now, when you look at list of priority, and I think Keon Ellis is attached to one of these situations, or both. But I think it's Zack LaVine, and this isn't a dream scenario. I understand I'm probably dreaming a little bit in this situation. But first and foremost, I think you get that heavy contract and just not the right fit. I'm not going to hate on Zack LaVine, the player, in terms of the person. Not the fit here.
Sure.
So that's priority one. And if you could attach Keon to that, okay, great. You get kind of two out of here. And priority two is probably DeMar DeRozan. But Sabonis is kind of a distant three.
Yeah. Well, Sabonis, I think for the interest in moving on from Sabonis is twofold. It's getting off the money and getting somewhat appropriate value for him.
Correct.
The issue or the interest in moving on from DeMar or Zach is getting off their money. Like, first of all. And you want to get hopefully some sort of value that you can for either of those guys, but the primary value is getting off of their money, getting off of those contracts. Kyle, you have frameworks of potential Raptors Kings trades, are these that you came up with or these that you found? That
came up with, but based on previous ideas
right.
that had been brought to the table.
Perfect. Let's talk through a couple of these and talk about really what we're looking at here when it's a potential Raptors trade for Domantas Sabonis. The first framework that Kyle put together here is Sabonis to the Raptors for R.J. Barrett, Jakob Poeltl, and future draft compensation. No matter what, if the Kings are moving on from Domantas Sabonis, they are trying to get some sort of draft compensation in return, and that might be the sticking point for a lot of this. But especially the Kings are going to ask for draft compensation when they're absorbing contracts like this. R.J. Barrett, for example. R.J. Barrett has 1 year left on his deal at $29.6 million. Jakob Poeltl has 3 years remaining on his deal. He just signed a new deal, and it starts next season at 27.3, 29.4, 27.3. So you're now getting 1 season of R.J. Barrett that you're on the hook for, 3 seasons of Jakob Poeltl that you're on the hook for, and Domas you're only on the hook for more money than both those two players, but for only 2 more seasons. Again, that does not speak to the type of money and the type of longevity in terms of contracts that Scott Perry wants to bring in. Yeah. So the way Scott Perry is doing that, the only way Scott Perry is doing that is, hey, Raptors, you're also sending me multiple firsts to get this deal across the finish line, and that's where this deal breaks down. Because if you're the Raptors, no.
Right.
Like, I'm not doing that.
Unless you really believe in Domantas Sabonis.
Which I don't know, like, what position are the Raptors in right now to feel like they're a Domantas Sabonis away to getting where they want to go?
I mean, they are the 5 seed.
But if they move on from R.J. Barrett and Jakob Poeltl, they bring in Domantas Sabonis. So it's Emmanuel Quickley, who had a really good game the other night. Emmanuel Quickley and
Jacoby Walter,
Grady Dick, I suppose. Like
Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, and Sabonis.
But are you believing right now if you're Toronto, and by the way, you're coming here tonight and he's not playing, like because of knee, like again, it's not the best timing.
Yeah.
Like, if Domas is back from injury and he's been playing minutes for the last 2 weeks, okay. But this is also like, if they were that, like, oh, that's the guy. And by the way, he might be kind of managing his knee here for a minute.
And if, let's say, they do make this trade and they bring that in, like, what is the they're a 5th seed right now. Maybe at best that works them up to a 4th or 3rd seed to have home court advantage. If that team makes it to the 2nd round, that's probably their ceiling. Like, realistically, in the Eastern Conference, that team's not doing anything to make any noise about being a legitimate contender, in my opinion.
You have 2 All-Stars. Again, I'm playing devil's advocate, too. You've got 2 All-Stars in the East. Also, you know how we keep talking about, it's hard to pair Sabonis with the perfect 4?
Is Sabonis an All-Star in the East?
I mean, you theoretically, if healthy, he can get there. I mean, he was an All-Star in the West and should have been the last 3 years. All-NBA,
sure,
all that stuff. But the other point is, we talk about how hard it is to find a 4 pairing for Sabonis. Scotty Barnes is the ideal pairing next to Domantas Sabonis. Blocks shots, shoots the ball. He's going to be an all-defensive first-teamer this year. Like, Scotty Barnes is your perfect front-court pairing for Sabonis.
Right, but are the Raptors a team that can effectively play through Sabonis offensively the way that you would want to in order to maximize his value and maximize his addition to the team?
Yeah, maybe.
I think you're way too optimistic about what the Raptors could be with Domantas Sabonis. But hey, maybe the Raptors feel that way, and that's enough for them to be willing to include multiple firsts to acquire him. And if that's the case, then maybe the Kings are interested. Although I don't think the Kings have any interest in taking on Jakob Poeltl's contract because there's 3 years left on that sucker.
Again, if there was draft compensation, maybe. If we're looking at what it would be.
But I mean, in the other framework of the deal, like maybe Emmanuel Quickley's out there, but Quickley's got 3 more years left on his deal at $32.5 million every single year. Like that's not what the Sacramento Kings are trying to do. The Kings would.
They're like solving a problem, but not really solving the problem.
Exactly. And there's no the point of these conversations. There's no perfect ideal situation. No matter what, you're going to have to sacrifice in some area. Maybe you have to take back a longer contract than you want. Maybe you get less draft picks than what you want. I just don't see. I think the Sacramento Kings would much rather hang on to Sabonis for another year and see what his value is like during the summer or during the off season than take 3 to 4 years of a Quickley or Poeltl contract.
Oh, that Poeltl contract's 5 years, baby.
Oh my goodness!
So he got a 3-year extension. So he is
starting next season.
No, starting the year after next season. So he's under contract through 2030.
No, so next season, because I'm looking at his contract right now. Next season is the first year of the 3-year extension. So he's got 3 years left on his deal after this season. At least that's what I'm looking at. That's what Spot Track has.
But Spot Track has him under contract through 2030.
Right. The 2030 season is the 3 seasons from next season, the second season, then the third season is the 2030 season.
We're doing math here. He's got 4 years after this year.
Let me. I want to dive in on this because I'm curious really quick on the point of Sabonis and this trade stuff. We've got a question in the chat from PE Time. Why is Matt trying so hard to kill Sabonis' value?
I'm not trying so hard to kill Sabonis' value. I'm just realistic about what Sabonis' value is.
Right.
And it's not killing Sabonis' value as much. I don't believe that the Raptors are going to give multiple first-round picks to bring Sabonis in to get the Kings to be willing to accept 3 years of Quickly or 3 years of Pirtle or whoever. I just don't think that makes sense for the Raptors to do, and it doesn't make sense for the Sacramento Kings to take that much money back.
Do you think if he was having, I'm just throwing out a scenario, I'm interested in it. If he was having an all-star type of season up to this point,
yeah,
that would be any different?
I think the conversation would definitely change. The reputation of Domantas Sabonis right now is, one, he's been battling injuries, and two, when it comes to the postseason, he's not as impactful of a player as you would hope that he would be, which is why I don't think the Raptors would look at Sabonis and go, that's the missing piece to us winning a title. They're not that team. I just don't think they're that team. That's just my gut feeling. I could be totally wrong on the situation. I'm obviously not watching Raptors basketball every single day.
Come on,
But
Matt.
Look, I can try and sell a used car as much as I possibly can. Hey, Raptors, you want to include 3 first-round picks? Let's get this sucker done. Yeah. I'm all for it. I just don't think the Raptors are realistically doing that. They're probably saying, here's 1 first-round pick. Now take these contracts that you don't want to have on your books for the next 3 years.
And this is one of really the few teams that we've heard interest in Sabonis. I mean, we've heard a little bit about the Warriors. This is the other one that's been kind of minor league lingering. But there's not really any other interest right now.
Ultimately, it's going to be where are you willing to compromise with?
Yeah.
Are you willing to compromise with less draft picks in return? Or are you willing to compromise with the willingness to take on 1 or 2 contracts that are longer than what you want? And I think if I'm Scott Perry, I think Scott would rather have less draft picks than more contracts that are on the books for the next 3 years. I think that's how I would handle it if I'm Scott, and how Scott has handled situations. I think the Kings want to avoid bad contracts and long-term contracts like the plague right now, unless they are players that's Emmanuel Quickley is exactly the type of guard I'm looking for, but I don't think he is.
The type, yeah.
So that's my gut feeling on the situation. Could be totally wrong. I'm not trying to kill Domantas Sabonis' value. I'm just being what I believe he is and what I believe the Raptors are looking for. I just don't think there's not a scenario for me where the Kings are very eager to take on those contracts in order to move Sabonis. I think they'd rather just hold on to him right now, unless the Raptors were stupid with their picks and just said, take them all. In which case,
I
fine.
wish.
Deal with it. Right, exactly.
And we're looking back at this like Mikal Bridges in 2 years, oh my God, they gave up 6 picks?
Yeah, and there's no reason to believe with the landscape of the trade market right now that any team is willing to, I'd be surprised at this point if a team gives up multiple firsts, period, 2 future firsts. That sounds crazy for a team to do right now with the landscape of the
multiple
league.
Firsts, that means you'd be trading for Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
Hey, don't get us excited over here.
Yeah. I don't know how this trade deadline is going to go for the Sacramento Kings. I'm hoping that the Kings will be able to move on from minimum one of those core veterans. And by core veterans, I mean either a Sabonis or a LaVine or a DeRozan. One of those 3 I feel like has to go. Maybe you throw Dennis Schroeder in there. But the reality is the Kings more than likely are not going to be able to get rid of or move on from all of them. So, Kayla, let's go through some of these names and talk about what do the Kings do with these veterans if they can't move them.
Okay.
And the first one we're going to start with is, I think, a very, very likely scenario. And actually, Dave and Jason were talking about this on the morning show this morning.
Just a second, Matt. Just a sec.
Oh.
This calls for some energy.
She's cracking open and spilling all over the place. Don't let the engineers, there's nothing there. There's nothing wrong. She's fine.
You thought that was going to be so slick and so cool, and then it just started fizzing all over.
She was trying to make a moment, and it blew up in her face.
And now she has a wet notebook.
Kyle, do you have anything back there?
That notebook, you got to save that notebook. That thing's going to be so
It's all right.
through.
It was 99 cents at the dollar store.
Oh, no. Zack LaVine.
Yeah, sorry. Getting back, I was trying to have a moment.
You were trying to, and it
literally exploded.
Zack LaVine. How do the Sacramento Kings handle the remainder of the season after Zack LaVine is traded or not traded? And I truly don't believe Zack LaVine's going to be moved because of his contract. Is it realistic to even comprehend the idea of the Kings going, Zach, you're not playing really much at all for the remainder of this season, because ultimately what's best for us is for you to opt out of your deal and test free agency, walk away from the almost $50 million. I think it's like $49 million you're owed next year. Walk away from that. Go get a more long-term money for less of an annual salary somewhere else. Pick where you want to go sooner, and we don't have to deal with another year of your contract. Can the Sacramento Kings not make his life a living hell? But how do the Kings get it so Zack LaVine goes, you know what, guys? I'm walking away from the money. It ain't worth it here. I'm going to go choose where I'm going to go elsewhere. That's the best case scenario for the Kings, is for Zach to walk.
It really, it's mind-blowing to be able to be in the mind of an athlete who makes so much money that I can't even fathom, like the money that some of these athletes make. And to be, I'm not saying I know this for sure. Again, I'm just kind of making my own speculations that he's not happy here.
Yep.
He might even be miserable in some cases. This is not the type of basketball team he wants to play on, because it's not a competing team. It won't be probably in the next 2 years or so while they're rebuilding. I feel like you can never say never in terms of getting somebody out of here that really just is miserable. Mm-hmm. Like the family's miserable, they're miserable. I don't know if it's at that point with Zack LaVine. I think that as much as we harp on Zack LaVine, as much as we give him a hard time because maybe he doesn't have some of those characteristics that some of these other veterans have, of we get behind them like a Russell Westbrook, or they play hard like DeMar DeRozan from start to finish. Like, sometimes I think he is criticized because he's the easiest one to criticize.
Yeah.
But by the same token, he is, what we see is what we get with him. So I could see him just being a good pro and being like, I'm just going to sit here. I'm also going to sit here because I'm just going to make them do whatever it takes to get me out of here with a trade. It would blow my mind if he walked away from money. It would blow my mind. Crazier things have happened with professional athletes, but that's about the last thing that anyone is going to do who's a professional athlete, is walk away from any type of money.
The scenario where that makes sense is you have a better chance to get more long-term money at a higher salary now than if you wait one more year after collecting the final $48.9 million on your contract. Like, he has to believe, and his camp have to believe, that if you test free agency now and choose where you want to go, we will be able to give you more money long-term than you're going to get if you go one more year and either get traded away next season or just have a useless season on a bad Kings basketball team. Again, another one. And then try and test free agency in the same way. And maybe that's a realistic scenario. But, like, I've seen comments of people going like, well, what about just send him home, Matt? Just send him home. Mm-hmm. What if the Kings were just like, Zach, we weren't able to trade you. Sorry, we couldn't figure it out. Go home, spend time with your family. We're not going to play you for the rest of the season. It's really easy to say. It's hard to do. And what the Kings need to be cognizant of is that all these players talk.
Yep.
And managing relationships with agents is incredibly important. And Zack LaVine's agent is Rich Paul. Arguably the biggest agent of them all. You do not want to cross that man. You do not want to tick him off. One of the key reasons that the Kings brought Scott Perry in is because of the relationships, the pre-existing relationships that he's built with agents over his long NBA and basketball operations career. So you have to handle Zack LaVine's situation very delicately. You can't just go, get out of here. You're not playing. You're terrible. We're going to make your life as miserable as possible so you opt out. They can't do that.
No.
But I think the Kings will strongly try to urge, if they don't move on from Zach, strongly try to urge Rich Paul and Zach, hey, you're not happy here. We're going in a different direction. Don't accept that player option. Walk away from that money, and you will go find more money elsewhere, and you get to pick where you want to go. I think the Kings are going to strongly suggest that as much as they could.
I mean, let me tell you this. If Scott Perry can strongly urge Zack LaVine and his agent to walk on out of Sacramento and go test your talent somewhere else, which, by the way, has not really worked in any places that it's supposed to, the level it's supposed to work to before this, I will give him my paycheck for a month. Now, that might not seem a lot to him.
He's like, that's fine.
But to me, that's like everything.
That is a big deal.
So I would be interested to see how even the workings of urging an agent and a player to do that, how that goes. But is there an example?
Like that's happened like this before, that you've gotten players to walk away from?
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be as much money.
Yeah, I don't have it off the top of my head. I'm sure there are examples that exist. What I'm caught on, though, is Rich Paul is just as aware as everyone else is of where the league is at right now because of these aprons. And are there going to be teams lining up to throw $30 to $35 million a year at this guy for 3 to 4 years right now? Not just because of his reputation, but because of the apron system. Yeah. Are there a lot of people that are going to be lining up for that?
Yep.
As Kyle plays a gif of
Kyle?
You spilling your...
I thought I was having technical issues with my computer. No, it's just Kyle.
Kyle gifted you
making
spelling.
Me look like a fool.
Do not let the engineer see
I
that.
made you look like a fool.
I swear. Do not let not throw our girl under the bus here.
Big trouble.
The engineers will come for her.
Because I didn't even think about that. I was just needing an energy boost for this conversation. It was very innocent.
She just was trying to get a little drinky drink.
Yeah, and then I just,
no problems here.
I just exploded everything.
No mess. Everything's clean. Everything's fine. Nothing.
It wasn't that bad.
Nothing's wrong. Her notebook is destroyed.
My notebook was what got destroyed.
But
yeah, anyway. It's fine.
You know.
So there's that problem with Zack LaVine, and again, I do believe Zack LaVine will be a King after the. After the trade deadline.
So we're still going to be having all these conversations.
Yeah, I think we're going to continue to have these conversations of like how do the Kings convince Zack LaVine to not pick up his player option? Like, let's band together as a city to try and convince Zack LaVine to not do it.
I can't remember who said it, but they essentially were talking about the possibility of him opting out and signing at a lesser dollar amount. We've done the calculations. We can do it again if we want later. But they're basically like, I would be giving him poor financial advice if I were encouraging him to opt out of that contract. Maybe there's a world where he could get more in the long run by opting out. Probably not.
Us Sacramentans are very proud of our city.
Sure.
And we don't like people making fun of our city.
I wouldn't either.
We are going to make this city such a living hell for Zack LaVine that he walks away from $49 million. How do we do that?
Matt's like, come on, troops, let's go.
We're going to close all the roads to Tahoe. No trips to San Francisco. Nothing.
You want to phrase it like...
This place is going to be suburbia hell for you, sir.
No fancy dinners where he can go to?
Nope.
Those are
We're
shut
closing
down for
them
him?
all. It's just fast foods and a trip to Folsom Lake. That's all you got. Walk away from that $49 million or else, bub.
Steve Kerr actively hates Jonathan Kaminga, and he wants nothing more than to leave. And even Jonathan Kaminga wouldn't turn down $49 million because he could have done that by signing the qualifying offer.
I'm glad you brought up Jonathan Kaminga. Let's get to that really quickly, Kyle, if we can, because there was some Kaminga drama, kind of, last night. Kaminga played for the Warriors.
He played decent.
Out of desperation because they lost Jimmy Butler, obviously, to his injury. He scored 20 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal. The Warriors got blown out, but fine. He played well. First game action back in a while. But before he even played, Mike Dunleavy Jr., the GM of the Warriors, he had a press conference, mainly to talk about the Jimmy Butler stuff.
Yeah.
But naturally was asked about Jonathan Kaminga because why wouldn't he be?
Yeah,
it's one of the biggest stories in the NBA that everyone's tired about. And he talked about was asked about Kaminga demanding a trade and had this crazy line that I think is wild that I want to react to and want to get your reaction to.
Haven't talked to you, I don't think, since the report of Kaminga's trade demand. How did you take that? And does Jimmy's injury alter the way you're approaching what Kuminga what could happen to him, by the trade deadline?
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as the demand, I'm aware of that. I think when in terms of demands, when you make a demand, there needs to be demand on the market. So
when there's a demand, there needs to be demand. First off, that's a bar. So shout out.
Demand, there needs to be demand.
That's a bar by Michael Dunleavy Jr. But the amount of lack of self-reflection in that statement is insane. Because Mr. Dunleavy Jr., sir, I've never met you. You made it known. Your organization made it known. The entire world knew that the sole reason that you were trying to sign Jonathan Kuminga to the contract that you got him to agree to was to trade him. And not just trade him, you wanted to put it at that $20 to $25 million per year range because that's an easy contract to include in a potential star trade to pair with Steph Curry. You made this plan. And over the process, have DNP'd this guy for a couple months, tanked his value because your head coach never wanted him there. And now you're saying, there's no demand for him, so how can we trade him? Bro, that was your decision.
Yeah.
That was your plan. Your plan went up in smoke. Don't act like that's Kuminga's fault. That was a crazy bar before the game.
If I were Kuminga, and now I'm even more impressed with Kuminga.
That was before he played.
Exactly. And he has, for the most part, I think handled this extremely well. You can have your thoughts on opinions on Kuminga as much as you want. Put yourself in his position.
Yeah.
Where, by the way, again, his own teammates are in favor of him and how he's handled it.
Yep.
If I were Kuminga, I would be this close to being I'm just walking out of this building because it is to the point where it's laughable. That comment is cringeworthy.
And until you either trade him for someone to replace Jimmy Butler with or not, you need him right now. He is the body at a position that you just lost one of your stars to a catastrophic injury.
Yeah.
So not a great start to convince him to let bygones be bygones for the rest of the year than to go, you can't demand a trade if you got no trade demand. It's your fault.
More gasoline.
Bruh,
just pouring it on.
That was a wild line from Michael Dunleavy Jr. I'm sure we'll talk about that more tomorrow. We got to get back to what do the Kings do with the veterans that they can't move. We'll talk about DeMar DeRozan, Sabonis, Russell Westbrook, and Dennis Schroeder, plus a final preview of Kings versus Raptors tonight and crosstalk with the Drive Guys. That's all still to come here on Sactown Sports.
This Sactown Sports 49ers report is brought to you by Kia of Vacaville, located beside the Vacaville outlets. 49ers season comes to a close in Seattle on Saturday, losing 41-6. San Francisco playing without all pros George Kittle, Fred Warner, and Nick Bosa, and the injuries proved to be too much to overcome. San Francisco finishes the year 13-6. As for Seattle, they advance to the conference championship game, where they will take on LA, who defeated Chicago in overtime 20-17. Catch that game right here on Sactown Sports beginning at 3.
Football season is here at Kia of Vacaville. You can score big in a new 2025 Kia Niro LX with up to 53 MPG combined at Kia of Vacaville. Perfect for road trips, tailgates, and cruising to Levi Stadium in style and comfort. But don't wait. Inventory is limited at Kia of Vacaville, and these deals won't last long. Visit KiaVacaville.com or stop by right next to the Vacaville outlets for friendly service, easy shopping, and unbeatable value. All in one stop. Kia of Vacaville, where the adventure begins.
At InShape, there's a place for every kind of mover. The Sometime, the early riser, after work grinder, the yogi, lifter, walker, runner, sauna seeker, recoverer. If you walk, lift, stretch, or sweat, you belong. Start the year strong and join today at InShape.com.
Guys, feeling low energy or low drive? It could be low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health, start with a free T-check and consultation. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off TRT. Book now at ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply, must medically qualify.
At Big O, our ProTech Plus warranty offers free flat repairs, replacements, and roadside assistance. So tire trouble is no trouble at all. Now through January 25th, get $80 to $120 instant savings on 4 select in-stock Nitto, Cooper, Nexen, or Sumitomo brand tires with installation purchase. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Installation required. Disposal fees and shop fees extra where permitted. See store for pricing. Eligibility may vary. Not valid with other offers.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Country in the Park is back. May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo. Miranda Lambert. John Party. Chris Young. Young, Turnpike Troubadours, Dylan Scott, and more. Line dancing live DJs, Mechanical Bulls, huge festival area, and food trucks. Tickets start at only $68. Country in the Park, May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo with Hoblit Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram Center, and Fairfield in Cal Expo. More info at CITBfest.com.
Card collectors know there's nothing as special as a rare one-of-one card. And now you can hear a very rare one-of-a-kind sports card show right here on Sactown Sports. Whitey Gleason here inviting you to join me and Mr. True Sports Cards himself, Imran Pilati, for the True Sports Card Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sactown Sports. It's the only sports card radio show in the nation. For all your hobby needs, get to True Sports Cards, 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland. And for hobby, insight, and fun, join us for the True Sports Card Show Saturday mornings at 10 on Sactown Sports.
At Power Business Technology, we're not another big box corporation. We're your neighbors, locally owned and operated. We know what businesses like yours need, from reliable printers to high-performance copiers. We'll help you find the right solution with personal service you just can't get online. Need setup or support? We're just down the road and always happy to help. Power Business Technology, family hometown service with big-time solutions. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Sactown Sports 1140 fans, here's a win you don't want to miss with H&R Block. Join us for a ribbon-cutting grand opening with the Chamber of Commerce at the new H&R Block office in Folsom this Thursday, the 22nd, from 11 till 2 p.m. The first 150 guests score free tacos. Plus, you can enter to win gift baskets from local Folsom shops. And new clients filing at this location receive a special discount. Celebrate, win, and save at the new H&R Block in Folsom. A smart play for tax this year with H&R Block.
It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
Final half hour of the show. In the next segment, we got the crossover with the Drive Guys. Whitey Gleason, Alan Stiles joining us. Lots to talk to them about today, and I'm sure they're going to have plenty to talk about on their show. Getting ready for Kings and Raptors tonight, the final game of this long homestand. And Kayla, Kings better pack a coat because they're going on a long, chilly 6-game Eastern Conference, primarily, road trip coming up.
I've heard there's been like storms too right now. I think Carmichael Dave was talking about because he's flying overseas.
Right, he's going across the pond.
And he's like, there's like all this weather happening. And Jason Ross goes, well, it is wintertime out east.
True. That's one of the biggest things that I'm going to miss the most about, or I do miss the most about TV, is my sports hit was always right after weather. So I always knew what the weather was going to be like all the time, and I could tell my family and act like a big shot. And I learned from our meteorologists at ABC 10, so I was like, I can use all these big words and science terms that I have no idea what they mean.
They thought you were so cool.
Now I don't know anything about the weather, and I feel lost. I feel lost and alone.
You can just pretend like you do and act like you're our local meteorologist on the station.
Well,
you know?
Sometimes they're wrong, and I'll be wrong a lot. I can tell you that
true.
much. Rick, save us. How are you, Rick?
Hey, guys. How you guys doing?
Good.
Hey, I just want to say a couple things with the Kings. Could it be one of the difficulties they're having is that the players have lost value? And in particular, Malik Monk, this wouldn't be the first time the Kings made their sixth man a starter and give them the pay for it. But I think if they gave him a little bit more, he's really a sixth man. And if he got that sixth man pay, I think he'd be snapped up in an instant with whatever his salary would be. And then the Jonathan Kaminga story, I kind of have a theory. You know, when he plays and Curry's not playing, he's scoring about 27 points a game. And I kind of wonder sometimes if Kerr doesn't play him to kind of protect Curry's legacy. I can't think of any other reason why he doesn't play him as much. And anyway, I'll take your comments off the air, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Rick, so much. I mean, that's interesting with Kaminga. For Kaminga, the way I look at it is like two things can be true. One, Kaminga has not done a good enough job to fit into the box or be the type of player that the Warriors need him to be in order to be the best version of themselves right now, or at least in the eyes of Steve Kerr and the Warriors. Like, I'm not saying Kaminga is not blameless in how things have played out in Golden State, but the Warriors could also be trying to slam a square peg into a round hole, whatever that saying is, like, or they might be trying to condense him into too small of a box that doesn't maximize him the way that he feels he should be maximized, and doesn't use him in the way that would be most effective for them because they think he needs to just be this is your role. Play this role because you're playing with Draymond Green and Steph Curry, and that's that. Like, I think both things can be true, and it's interesting that, Rick says it's because they want to preserve Steph Curry's legacy that they're not playing Kaminga as much. I don't know if I subscribe to that thought.
I just don't understand, and we don't have to get in the weeds about this, but just enlighten me, because I know, like, organizations make draft picks. I know you guys are used to this, that sometimes don't work out, or you
sometimes.
have you have a draft pick and it just gets away. It goes somewhere else, and then you're like, wait, where did it go? Why didn't we keep him? I'm confused with Kaminga, because there's clearly still plenty of people out there. There are not as many teams interested right now because, again, they've pushed down his value. Mm-hmm. Where did it go wrong so early on with them drafting him? Was he just completely the opposite player once he stepped in the doors of that building that they thought he'd be? Because I just don't understand. You are responsible for bringing him in.
Yeah. From not paying attention to the Golden State Warriors every day the same way that I do the Kings, what my perspective of it is they tried to do this two timeline thing, where the reason why they had high draft picks for those few years was because they weren't a very good team, and Steph got hurt and was out for a while, so suddenly they were able to retool. And then they tried this two timeline thing where we have these young players that we're going to still parallel alongside with the continued career of Steph Curry and Draymond Green, at the time Klay Thompson, and then the Warriors won another title, to their credit. They won another title, but Kaminga, I'm not saying Kaminga wasn't a decent part of that, but it wasn't like, he was behind Andrew Wiggins, and it wasn't
he was on the bench.
Yeah, it wasn't the same way. I think the attempt at this two timeline thing failed colossally, because while maybe the owner, Lacob, liked the idea of this two timeline, it was very clear Kerr was all about the Steph Curry timeline, and everybody has to conform to the way that I feel we need to play in order to maximize Steph. I don't necessarily fully blame him for that, because Steph is a generational talent, and Steve has had all of his success as a coach because of Steph Curry and that dynasty that they've built. But in doing so, I do believe the Warriors became a little too close-minded to what Kaminga could be and focused too much on what they needed him to be. Like I said, they tried to put him in a box. So that's from the outside perspective. I'm no Anthony Slater or anything.
But it's wild, just because this has been going on for so long that they've not wanted him there, and we're still at the point where he's still there.
Yeah.
So
it's this Jonathan Kaminga saga feels like will never truly end. But
I hope it does.
Let's really quickly get back to some of these other veterans. What do the Kings do with these veterans if they can't move them? We talked about Zack LaVine already. What do they do with DeMar DeRozan? Mm-hmm. I think they know DeMar is a total pro. I don't think they have any issue at all with riding out the rest of the season with DeMar DeRozan here, although I think both parties would be disappointed that they weren't able to find something. I think the Kings would likely go into the summertime with the hope that they could trade him during the summer, and then if they're not able to, I think what might be best for the team is just, hey, we'll pay you that $10 million.
Yeah.
That's the only guaranteed. We'll buy it out. You go where you want to go. I think the Kings will probably, if DeMar's still here, they'll try and shop him aggressively during the summertime, see if they can move him then to where he wants to go. If not, just take that $10 million hit. I don't think you should pay him the full $20+ million for that final year. And what's he going to do here? It just doesn't make sense.
No, you are, when it's all said and done, you're trying to just move someone out. I'll say this about DeMar, though. It's not probably as urgent. First of all, the contract, but second of all, he fits at least a little better here. Like, it's not a perfect fit by any means, but I do feel like Zack LaVine and him, if I were to pick one to stay here, I would definitely pick DeMar right now, throughout the season at least, to stay here.
Absolutely.
And he's been a pro the entire time. Yep. Like, he's been consistent for the most part. I know sometimes we don't feel like he needs the most minutes that he gets, but he is producing. For the most part, in what he can do. He's being asked to do things. He's doing it. He's been a little bit feisty as of late.
He's chippy right now. He's chippy.
So I don't know. It's kind of fun to watch, actually. Yeah. So I'm okay with, if you just laid out that scenario, if that were to be the case, I think that's fine.
Does DeMar DeRozan get into an altercation tonight with the Toronto Raptors? You know, there's some animosity with, well, not really, but that was his initial team.
Yeah,
and we know how much they love DeMar over there in Toronto, Canada. But we'll keep an eye on that. We're going to table the rest of this conversation. We'll talk about what do the Kings do with Sabonis, Westbrook, and Schroeder on the show tomorrow, because right now we have to take a break. Coming up next, the Drive guys, Whitey Gleason, Alan Stiles come in to take over, and I'm looking forward to chatting with them a little bit about this Keon Ellis stuff. That's coming up next.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
When value matters, Elk Grove Chevrolet delivers. Right now, purchase a 2026 Chevrolet Silverado for $4,500 off. The Silverado 1500 stands out with legendary towing power, a bold new design, and the dependability you expect from Chevy. Visit myelkgrovechevrolet.com for full details. Don't miss your chance to drive the new Chevrolet Silverado. Stop by Elk Grove Chevrolet today and experience quality that goes the distance.
Get as loud as you can for Monster Jam!
The one and only Monster Jam. Packed with stunts, smiles, and jaw-dropping skills. See the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks. Like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Megalodon, and more. Only at Monster Jam. Coming to Golden One Center this Friday through Sunday. Brought to you by BKT Tires. Savings available on select opening night tickets.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Award-winning guitarist and songwriter Gary Clark Jr. Tour 2026, Saturday, January 31st, 7 p.m., the venue at Thunder Valley. An electrifying night of music with Gary Clark Jr. Special guest, Marcus King Band. On sale at the venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Gary Clark Jr. Live.
There's the hard way to buy a car, and then there's the Hoblet way. Transparent prices, fast paperwork, and a team that's there to help, not hover. We've spent 77 years refining this process so you can get in, get out, and get driving with zero drama. Car buying doesn't have to be stressful. At least, not when you do it the Hoblet way. Experience the difference at HobletDodge.com. The easy way to buy.
It's a new year, and Aleve is here to help you keep your New Year's resolutions on track. Whether it's a daily walk, hitting the gym, or spending more time with friends and family, Aleve's got your back. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, Aleve keeps you moving with long-lasting body pain relief so you can chase those dreams and achieve your goals. Don't let body pain slow you down. Keep going with Aleve, because this year is your year. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Taxes was feeling unwelcome. Now Taxes is an open door, literally, to new TurboTax stores. Meet our experts in person.
Hi, welcome in.
They're powered by smart tech and ready to do your taxes for you. Get real-time updates while you go about your day. Confident your taxes are done right. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. TurboTax stores opening soon. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
When your check engine light comes on, do you see a repair bill or do you see peace of mind? For 20 years, CarShield's been the name America trusts to help keep you on the road. While other companies stop covering you when your car gets older, CarShield offers protection plans up to 200,000 miles. With over $1 billion in claims paid, we don't just promise protection, we deliver it. Don't let a breakdown break your budget. Get the flexible month-to-month coverage you deserve. Go to CarShield.com. That's CarShield.com today.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
You guys remember superlatives from like yearbooks, like most likely to?
Sure.
Oh yeah. What were your guys's?
I didn't have one. I don't think I really had one. Most likely that'd be a failure on a radio show. I did not have. If we had a Sactown
You know what
Sports,
Bruce Lee says? Bruce Lee used to say, "Never say something bad about yourself, even if you're kidding, because your soul doesn't know the difference."
Words of advice today from
I'm a
Whitey.
Kings, Raiders, and A's fan. My soul is in tatters.
Mine was best laugh. Just thought I'd put it out there.
Best laugh?
Best
laugh.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't want this to be a this generation is getting soft, but they kind of got rid of that by the time I was in high school.
Do you even have a yearbook, or is it just like on your phone?
It's going to scare you what year it is.
It's like last year.
In Kyle's yearbook, it would have the superlative, and it would say, everybody.
Yeah.
For everything.
Yes.
Everybody
Yes.
wins. Here's
You're
a
right.
participation trophy.
Was Allen's like most likely to be president?
We didn't have them. I don't know why, but we didn't have them.
Nobody here had him?
Well, I was going somewhere with that.
Well, Whitey,
because-
it was like most likely to live to be 40.
Most likely to survive, the plague.
Yeah.
And stuff.
If we had a Sactown Sports or like yearbook though with our superlatives, I did not expect Biggest Karen to be Alan Stiles. About the
no fishing.
Well, that's
Get
on
off
you.
my lawn.
That's on you. You should have expected.
You can't
Look,
fish
I found
in this
it.
lake.
I found
You're
it.
not allowed to fish in
Look
this
at
lake
this.
because the sign says so.
Look at this guy. You see the guy next to the tree, and you see the no fishing sign.
Who cares?
Oh, is he like looking at it?
Why does it
right
bother
here.
you?
It's right
Okay,
there.
What's
now
wrong
that
with
is
that?
clear.
Thank
it says
you.
no fishing.
That's clear.
Who cares?
Let me favorite this because I'm going to go back to it.
Did you tell on people? Like
No,
growing
I
up?
didn't. It's just so I have it.
I think you should get it on video. You screaming at one of these kids.
Alan is the.
I'm not going to
Well,
say
now he's
anything.
scared. You can't scream at children.
I'm not
Alan
going to
is-
say anything.
They're
There's
teenagers.
actually been talk. I'm not making this up, and Jay got this started. There's been talk of our show, having a wiffle ball game against the mayor's office. The mayor apparently is a big wiffle ball player.
Okay.
And so Alan says, well, I'm going to take this up with the mayor if that ever happens.
Bruh.
I mean, there's just
Like a side note.
There's a lot that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
There's plenty to talk about. That's just one of the things on my agenda.
Could you talk about trying to convince Zack LaVine to walk away from his contract?
Yeah. This idea, the morning show was talking about, well, if Zack LaVine opts out, he's not opting out. This is not his fault.
Of course,
This
it's not
is
his
your
fault.
mess.
Yeah.
Sacramento Kings,
Yeah.
you clean it out. Why would Zack LaVine opt out of $50 million? Why?
Well,
I don't care how much he might not love the farm to fork capital. Why would he do that?
We're making his life hell here in Sacramento. That's why.
Why would he do that? Well, he
I
could
think what
opt
Dave
out.
said is you could buy him out, and
Yeah.
then he could sign another deal and end up netting more.
He said that
but-
too.
Yeah,
He said that too. But the idea, let's not even throw it out. He ain't opting out.
Okay.
He ain't opting
The
out.
only hypothetical scenario that makes any sort of remote sense is that Rich Paul and company feel that, okay, you can get more long-term money at a higher annual salary now, with your value being what it is now this summer, than if you go through a wasted garbage season in Sacramento and then try at that point. But at the same time, the other side of that coin is we just went through a free agency period where nobody spent money, period, because everyone was afraid to. So who the hell is going to throw $35 million a year at you for 4 years?
And I'll tell you this much. I still think there are other things that they can do, and Zack LaVine can stay. Now, Zack LaVine is enemy number one. We did this a couple weeks ago when he wasn't playing in the fourth quarter. It's just whoever it is. It was Malik. Now it's him. I'll tell you this much. When it comes to what Zack LaVine could be and what he could do, the reality is there is other fat that they could trim. Yeah. And I don't think he's that big of a problem. I just think it's all a problem. It ain't Zack LaVine to me.
So what were your reactions, and sorry if this is getting too deep into the weeds of what you guys are going to talk about on your show. What was your reaction to Doug's comments last night where he made it very, without directly saying, I benched him because he didn't play defense. He basically said, I benched him because he didn't play defense.
But Doug has been calling Zack LaVine out for that crap the whole time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The reality is this roster is a disaster. That's what we're going to talk about. We got Brett Siegel coming on at 3 p.m. to break down what's going on with with JK from the Bay. Can't say his name.
Right. You can say it on this show.
Can't say it, you know.
You can say it on this show.
And we got the legend Jerry Reynolds at 4 p.m. So there's just going to be a lot of conversation. It's one of our biggest shows to date, I would say. It's just going to be a lot of conversation about
the 7th or 8th one we've had.
What in the world is going on with these rotations? And then you got Shot of Styles coming up. That's going to be 4:30. It's debut Shot of Styles.
Shot of Styles.
What does that mean?
It is our reworked Style Espresso.
But Style Espresso, it fits naturally.
Style Espresso, it's still in our hearts. It's not going away.
Do you need to take a shot of ginger?
You can take a shot of whatever you want.
That's what we need to make him do on the air.
I'll take a shot, excuse me, of ginger.
That stuff's nasty.
What is the ginger?
Nasty.
Okay.
Ginger's good.
It makes your immune system good, but it is nasty.
You mean those? Ginger. You're talking about, I drink those.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I drink those. 5 hour, whatever you need.
Look at Alan.
Okay.
I drink those, okay?
Because I'm telling you right now, this vendetta on Zack LaVine, it's ridiculous.
Matt, I would say this to answer your question. Sorry, Alan.
No, go ahead, Whitey. I've said it.
You asked our reaction. My reaction was one of disappointment. And maybe I was overly optimistic, maybe naive to think maybe the Kings move him. But to me, if Doug Christie is saying, if you're close to moving a guy, the coach doesn't go after him in a post-game press conference and talk about how bad his defense is. So it tells me, and maybe I should have already known, they ain't trading Zack LaVine.
I also feel like Doug never makes those comments without having the full support of Scott Perry, and I think it's pretty understood. I think Doug and Scott are on the same page at least with Zach ain't part of the future here, and we don't exactly value what Zack LaVine brings. He doesn't fit the vision.
Last week, that was Malik, and Malik didn't play defense, and it was because of Keon. Now, Keon don't play. So it just close your eyes and just throw out a name, and that's who's going to play.
Devin Carter.
Well, besides him.
Where is he?
Dust him off.
That one's right.
Where is Devin?
He's right about that one.
That one will not be happening.
So we talked a lot about Keon Ellis today because I'm convinced Keon is gonzo, and I'm convinced the highest value of Keon to this Kings organization at this point is using him as a trade sweetener going forward to actually get one of these veteran trades across the finish line and make sure they can get this rebuild started and trade somebody by the start or by the trade deadline. I don't know if we're going to see truly, unless it's like garbage time or an injury, God forbid. I don't think we might not see Keon Ellis play another second of Sacramento Kings.
It's just kind of sad for me, Matt, because I remember when you and I did a show at the Hard Rock Sportsbook. Remember that?
Great times.
Yeah, and I remember we were talking about Keon, and I was, again, so naive because I was thinking, they know what he can bring them, so they're not playing him because they want to showcase other guys. And I was just in denial because I just was thinking, Keon fits what they're doing. But now, obviously, and I heard you guys talking today, doesn't appear that Keon is in their plans.
Well, we'll see if, Doug does the coach speak tomorrow. He's going to be on the show, on the morning show with Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross. But, Matt, the Keon, it's January 21st. We have until, February 5th?
February 5th.
I think it's a little hyperbole that we won't see Keon again. You might be right. And I don't know, is this source or is this just your opinion?
No, I think it's my opinion because as with Malik playing as much as he is and the narrative or the rumors changing that, hey, Malik is now part of what we're doing going forward and Malik is playing well, it's always been either Malik plays or Keon plays. And unless Dennis Schroeder gets suspended for fighting Luka Doncic again or somebody gets hurt, which we're not rooting that for anybody, I see Malik playing over Keon primarily for the remainder of this season. So I'm not expecting Keon to play. That doesn't mean he won't, but I just don't expect him.
Well, I'm not going to argue on semantics and if they get blown out tonight, and the Raptors haven't been playing well either, but if they get blown out tonight and Keon
5 minutes
plays 5 minutes, I
Yeah.
understand your larger part, the idea, because we did this about 2 weeks ago, the collective we had the conversation of I think there was a report they're trying to mend the relationship. It was Slater. I think Slater had come out and said they could find themselves in a situation where they trade Keon or they try to mend the relationship, or not mend, but they try to get over the finish line.
Yeah, we still have options.
Yes, to an extension. That was literally 2 weeks ago.
You're going to need Keon tonight against Emmanuel quickly.
40,
yeah.
a 40 burger.
He's not playing. Keon's not playing tonight.
All right.
By the way, no Khalil Ware
hope.
last night. Yeah. I wanted to see him, man. I wanted to see Khalil Ware last night. So I had to watch Whitey's boy, Darren Peterson, do absolutely
Wasn't great
nothing.
last night. But he was better than DeBanza was on Saturday.
Peterson
How dare
now.
you? Don't say bad things about AJ.
Yeah.
We love AJ.
Whitey,
No, I just said
come
he didn't have he had 13 points on Saturday.
They were sending 3 players at him, literally triple teaming him. So that ain't going to happen in the NBA.
Domantas Sabonis also not playing tonight. He is out for injury management, so we won't see him break into the starting lineup again. Were either of you surprised by, 1, him not starting in that third game, and 2, him only playing 5 minutes in the second half of that game?
Yeah, well, I'll just keep it quick. I mean, again, it's based on what Doug is saying, right? There are situations where you can take the out. Doug didn't take the out. He said, no, this is based on what we're trying to do. He's not on a minutes restriction. He kind of coupled it at the end and said it's a process, but he did not say that this is due to a minutes restriction, which means that Domantas Sabonis was benched. He was benched.
And now he's not playing tonight because of his knee.
Not playing. It's all about the Bean Boys. Give me the Bean Boys and free my soul. I want to get lost in your pick and roll.
Oh, and drift away.
That's right.
That's right, baby.
There's no better way to end the show
Whitey
than
Gleason
that.
is spot on. Spot on.
Well, on that note, I'm getting the heck out of the way so the drive guys can continue whatever chaos Alan Styles is about to cook up.
Take a shot of ginger.
That's right.
Let them get you ready for tonight's Kings game. It sounds like it's going to be can't miss radio. So stay tuned in right here on Sactown Sports, and we'll see you tomorrow on Matt and Kayla starting at 10 a.m. Peace.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on